Start to make the transition from spring to summer. Should be perfect weather here this weekend and into next week. Mid-70s, maybe we'll tease 80. Yesterday was a little warm, but courses are in ideal condition all around the area. We've had just enough rain here and there and cool off days to keep things from getting too dried out too early here in the season. But should be great. For those of you that know, my home course is Forest Hills. I should be out there plenty here this weekend and into next week. The Hops are on a 2-week roadie this week and next week. So I think we got enough business taken care of here at the station so I can get out and enjoy things in the afternoons. And if any of you are out there in the afternoons, please say hi. I love just whoever I hook up with if I don't have a crew of my own. People out there, so friendly. And what makes it so much fun to be out there, I don't worry about. I just let them know, hey, I'm available here. It's like, oh, I'm going to put you with these guys. And it's just fantastic. Everybody's always so pleasant, so nice, appreciative out there as Marcus and his crew continue to do a bang-up job reshaping, continuing to develop the course that's one of the oldest in the area. So hopefully I'll get to meet more of you out there. It's Big Will Betts here this morning, as you may have heard last week. Will Darkins, I have not heard. They were expecting number 2. I think the due date was last week, some point in the week, but I have not got official word. I'm sure Luke may have it when he joins you for Sinner and the Saint.
If he got it, then he got it recently. I think Darkins is kind of keeping everyone in the dark. He's not really being forthcoming right now. Fingers crossed.
Yes. Well, everything was online. It's number 2, so, no more mystery. They know what the process, the procedure is, and all of that. But we wish them the best. And the Ortner, Big Will's going to be with us here for the near future. Probably at least a month, maybe some more.
My understanding was we're starting at a month, and then we'll figure it out from there.
We'll figure it out from there. Exactly. A lot of figuring it out. How's your golf game? Have you been getting? I know we've been, you've got stuff going on. You're always filling in.
I'm running around. I was able to sneak
You're
out.
like the Pablo Torre of this station.
I'm always finding out, apparently. I did get to sneak out. We had a nice little scramble over at Camas Meadows
for there you go.
The Hawkinson football program.
Nice.
They did a great job. The boosters did a great job over there. It was a good time. Nice, just a little best ball. We did not do so well. The coaches team got second to last. So
you know what? And when you're a head coach or you're coaches of a program, unless somebody was an actual stick, like earlier in their lifetime, like they grew up playing the game as well as playing football, you would worry about the quality of football if all your coaches were out there just throwing darts left and right.
No, 100%. It was very much a group of guys where at the very first tee box, we all kind of looked at each other and like, I got one today. I'll get one good shot, but there ain't much coming after that. And if I get more than one, that's just gravy there. So it was good. I'm excited to get out. Once school ends, you got a couple more weeks of that.
Yes.
I'm going to sneak out a lot more. I got to go do some running around. I want to go see Chehalem Glen. I want to go see Stone Creek. I want to run around, see some courses that I haven't got a chance to. Mint Valley up my way. So I'm excited.
No, well, it'll be fun. And hopefully we might be out at a few of those courses doing live shows here in the summer months. Couple of guests today. Josh Gaunt has been a local golf writer writing for the blog or e-newsletter, whatever you want to call it, Oregon Golf Beat, really focusing in on local golfers. The state championships at all levels at high school were recently done. There's a pair of young ladies that won a USGA amateur event all within the last month. So there's some great pieces up. So Josh is going to hop on, kind of talk about some of these names in junior golf a lot, and all with full ride scholarships going to universities that are serious about collegiate golf. We saw the Oregon women coming up short, yet again getting to the semifinals, but Kiara Romero, after her run, she's the number 3 ranked amateur in the world for the women and made the cut this week as the U.S. Women's Open going on out at Erin Hills. So we'll talk to Josh about the state of junior golf here, some of the top names that you should be on the lookout for in the next few years. And then Hunter Westcott, our good buddy, he had been with Northwest Golf Guys and their simulator place. He has recently moved to Pumpkin Ridge. He is the director of player development out there. Excited to have him come back at 8:30 this morning in the business of golf, talk about all of the opportunities. It's one of the great things, Pumpkin Ridge out there, one of the top courses. We've played professional events out there numerous times. The U.S. Women's Open has been out there a couple of different times, so one of the top facilities. But the great thing is you have a public and a private side, so the public gets to get out there and take advantage of what they do as well. So he'll talk to us about some of the programs that he's looking to do, and as the director of player development coming into an established golf facility like that. Obviously, you don't want to change things up too much, but bring something new, inject a little bit more life into it, and we'll find out what he's doing in that regard. But as we said, the big tournament this week, we've got a major, second major on the LPGA Tour, a signature event on the PGA Tour, so let's get at it. Let's get inside the ropes.
It's time for an insider's look at the leaderboards, the latest on all tours, plus local golf events and golf news. This is Inside the Ropes, part of Golf in the Northwest.
All right, 4 main tours going on this week. And we will start with the Champions Tour after back-to-back majors, both won by Angel Cabrera, El Pato, after doing his time in the clink out there in Argentina. I don't know how popular he's been received back there, but he is making up for lost time, whether you are a fan of his or not. Winning the Regions Tradition last week, he won that 2 weeks ago. Then he went and won the Senior PGA Championship, played at Congressional. If you haven't seen Congressional, if you caught any of that on TV, it is one of the grand old courses. They're in Bethesda, right outside the district, and they have done some work to it. It is amazing. And I don't know if the U.S. Open or the U.S. Women's Open is headed out there in the coming years, but the USGA is going to be sending more championships that direction. But he is not in contention right now after round one. They are at the Wakanda Club in Des Moines, Iowa for one of the long-standing tour stops there for the Champions Tour, the Principal Charity Classic. Miguel Angel Jimenez, 9 under as a one-shot lead over Cameron Percy. Thomas Bjorn, Jeff Schmid, they're at 7 under par. Miguel is among the leaders atop the Charles Schwab Cup and is looking to get another victory there. And so that will be going on today. 4 o'clock is when their coverage will kick in on Golf Channel. Korn Ferry Tour is in Raleigh, North Carolina, Raleigh Country Club for the UNC Health Championship presented by Stitch. 7,394 yards, just a par 70. Martin Laird, a veteran of the PGA Tour, back on the Korn Ferry Tour at age 48. He's trying to get back into PGA contention. They're finishing up the second round. Unfortunately, our man Alistair Doherty did not make it at 2 under, missed the cut, but Laird tied with Trace Crow at 11 under. Philip Knowles, Pearson Coody, yes, that one of the grandsons of the great Charles Coody, they are at 9 under par. And so you've got Martin Laird, who has won 4 times on the PGA Tour, trying to get his card back with a 565 in round 2. They are having lightning, and they had to finish up the second round this morning to make that cut. They are back on the course, just starting the third round trying to get things in and done before any more weather kicks in. That leads us to the Memorial Jacks tournament out there at Muirfield Village, a signature event. So most everybody is here. I know Rory's not there. I think Rory's just worn out. After he won the Masters, he got that career Grand Slam. You noticed he didn't play all that great at the PGA. I think he's taken a little time and trying to just recharge the batteries. He knows he's got the U.S. Open in a couple of weeks out at Oakmont. Then they're playing the Open Championship in his backyard at Royal Portrush. Then the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black. So those three events right there are what he is gearing up the rest of his season for. He is obviously amongst the leaders at the Tour Championship, which is going away from the staggered scoring. If you saw that this past week, it'll just go back. Everybody starts at even par, 72 holes, trying to determine a champion. We'll see. They keep messing with the FedEx Cup and the playoffs to try to make it perfect, and I don't know that it will ever be perfect in that regard. But at the Memorial this weekend, nobody hotter on the PGA Tour than Ben Griffin. He won for the first time on the PGA Tour in the team event with Andrew Novak at the Zurich back in April, right after the Masters in Louisiana. Then he won his first tour last week, his first individual tour last week at the Charles Schwab Challenge there at Colonial, and he's looking to win back-to-back, first one since Scotty did it last year when he had his ridiculous run. He's tied with Canadian Nick Taylor at 7 under par, but Ben Griffin is played his way all the way up to 5th now in the FedEx Cup standings. More importantly, he is charging up the Ryder Cup point standings, and Novak is up there. He's 8th. Now, the top 6 will be automatically qualified, and the top 4, I think, are locked. I don't know how they're going to fall. But if I am Keegan Bradley, not only are these guys playing great at the right time, but they already paired together to win a team title. If I am looking at Ryder Cup, Andrew Novak and Ben Griffin, I think, are just about on my list of locks as captain picks. We will see if he can continue it going. Scotty Scheffler right now is 4th at 4 under par as he continues to ramp up his play. He got the slow start to the season with the hand cut injury with the shards of glass there that he wasn't able to play. So I think he's just rounding into form. Should be a formidable opponent, probably the favorite at the U.S. Open in a couple of weeks. That leads us to the Women's U.S. Open out at Erin Hills, which looks just wonderful. And, of course, that if you ever have the opportunity to get out there and play, I would go for that in 2 seconds. That'd be one that said, hey, I got to foursome. I'm not asking what it costs at that point. I'm just going. Mao Saigo is your leader, 8 under par. Remember, she won the 5-way playoff at the first major of the year, the Chevron. The 2024 Rookie of the Year has a 3-shot lead over Nelly Korda, Hanako Shibuno, Sarah Schmelzel, Maya Stark, and Yalimi No, as well as Alim Kim, who is the only former U.S. champion up there in that group. So the U.S. Open has not been kind to Nelly Korda over the years. She carded her best round in a U.S. Open ever with a 5 under 67 in round 2 to play her way into contention. They had to finish up the second round this morning there to get everybody back. They are just starting to tee off. Threesomes going off both tees. 10 a.m. you'll get stream coverage on the Peacock, and then at noon on NBC they will pick up round 3 coverage. We'll talk about this a little later. Get Big Will Betts' thoughts on who he likes. Nelly Korda needs to win this for the LPGA Tour as bad as anything they need to have happen this week.
100%, because right now when you look at that leaderboard, if you are a casual, and I very much am.
You are. None of those names mean anything to you.
It's Nelly Korda, and that's it. And
Yes.
Nelly Korda might get me to tune in. It might get me away from some of the college baseball going on right now, or the college softball going on, or the Pacers and the Knicks. Like,
Yep.
They need Nelly Korda to win. And honestly, they need to hope for someone else to go on a big, gigantic run from the back.
I think she's enough right there. If you look back, yeah, I don't. No, there's not a name. There is not another household name up there. There's a couple of former U.S. Open champions, Arya Jatanagarn, Minji Lee, Madeline Sagstrom from Sweden, who, if you've watched Solheim Cups, but no, you've got to go down to, boy, Lydia Ko is tied for 36th at even par. Is that a name?
No. I mean, maybe if she goes on like an improbable run, and then because of who she is, then you get a little bit of love because of how big of a run it would have to be.
Yep. We'll see.
They're in trouble.
And they need the weather to hold off. No afternoon thunderstorms would certainly help them. So that's what's going on the tours. We'll talk a little bit more about the U.S. Women's Open here at the end of the show. But when we come back, pleased to introduce to you Josh Gaunt, local golf writer, the Oregon Golf Beat, as well as some other publications. He joins us next here on Golf in the Northwest on 1080 The Fan.
Since 19...
As we quickly transition back from the major tours, the professional tours here, to some local golf. Very pleased to have joining us for the first time, local golf writer Josh Gaunt, currently with the Oregon Golf Beat, but you've written for a lot of other publications and golf in the region. But we recently had our high school state championships, the OSAA state championships, as well as some U.S. GA championships featuring some younger players, but very pleased to have with us this morning Josh Gaunt. Good morning, Josh. Thanks so much for joining the show.
Yes. Thank you for having me on, Jason. Appreciate it. And a lot of great stuff going on with the Oregon youth golfers with the OSA state championships, like you mentioned, and U.S. women's amateur four ball as well. So, yeah, what a great morning.
Yeah, well, let everybody know a little bit. You know, you've been kind of, this endeavor is relatively new. It's been going for a little time, but you have been writing in not only for golf, but other journalistic pursuits as well. But you're native here to the area for a while as well. Give everybody a little bit of background on how you came to this endeavor. Yeah,
so I started off as a sports reporter several years ago for the News Review, actually down in Roseburg area, and did that for a couple of years, and kind of led to another media company that I worked for called Roseburg Tracker, and did sports and media coverage for that for a while, and then ended up moving back to the Portland area, and just kind of was scoping out the media landscape, and didn't see a lot of coverage as in regards to local golfers, amateur golfers, junior golfers, pros, etc. And so just felt like there was a niche for it, and wanted to kind of be telling more people's stories, and highlighting the game of golf in Oregon, and trying to uplift the game, so to speak, by telling people stories and highlighting things that could inspire or motivate others, or even young kids who might be looking up to the high schoolers or the college age kids from Oregon, who are doing things at those levels now. So
Well, we
that's gonna
appreciate it, and certainly something that needs to be filled in the area. It takes a lot of time and going back and forth, a lot of miles in the car to do it. OregonGolfBeat.com is where you can go. As we mentioned, the OSAA State Golf Championships have all happened here in the last couple of weeks, and the 6A boys champion went to Drew Woolworth at Lake Oswego back-to-back. He tied a 30-year-old state record with an 11 under. This is a name anybody that's paid attention to local junior golf has heard about for a while, but I think the bigger surprise might have been at the 5A level. Freshman Connor Holden from Canby High School wins the individual title. And he's got a little claim to fame too, having performed back at Augusta. As you look at both of these players, what stood out to you? We'll start with Drew, who I grew up with his dad. I played basketball at Lake Ridge High School with his dad way back in the day, so I know this family is extremely athletic. And Dean's such a great guy. What has stood out about Drew to you over the last, his career there at Lake Oswego? He's got one more year as well.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, at least that stands out, is back-to-back years winning by 8 strokes. That's a wide margin, to win the state championship by in back-to-back years. So it's showing just that he's just playing at a really high level, the game, and 11 under, like you mentioned, the tying the 30-year record for the state tournament at 11 under par for a 2-day event, 36-hole event. Seems like he really has his game dialed in, and like I think you mentioned that he's going to be playing at Georgia in fall of 2026. So. Big things ahead. Georgia took 22nd at the national championship. So a high level program where he's going to. So it seems like he is just really dialed in his game. And Lake Oswego High School boys team also won the team state championship. So he had a team around him that was contributing to that title as well. And then Connor. He seemed like he kind of had like a ho-hum couple of days, but still finished the tournament at even par to win the 5A state OSAA state title. And he was actually the first player to win the drive, chip, and putt held at Augusta National in 2024. So he was the first player from Oregon to win that event. And there's a story up on the website about that, and just how he's, kind of risen, really quickly up the ranks, and for him to win it as a freshman, pretty special for him.
Well, and is he a freshman now? He does this. I'm wondering, we knew about Drew. We've known about Drew for a few years. But as far as, colleges, when do colleges, I don't know how much you've gotten into the recruiting piece of it, when do they start honing in on, especially the top programs, of somebody that might be worthy of a full ride scholarship?
Yeah, that's a great question. I believe Drew announced last year, when he was still a sophomore, that he was going to Georgia. So, I think it kind of might depend on the level, what level you're playing at. But yeah, I mean, Connor's probably going to be on some people's radars. I know he's part of the Callaway Next program, which by Callaway Golf puts on and kind of helps, young golfers try to, establish their way, via traveling to, various junior tournaments regionally or nationwide. And so I don't think Connor has been approached yet, but, as he kind of moves on to a sophomore year, I would expect him to be being approached, soon, or maybe in the next year or so.
Yeah, and we'll see if he plays in some of the bigger junior tournaments throughout the summer, if he, is able to get anybody's attention. Talking here with Josh Gaunt, OregonGolfBeat.com. covering local golfers. And I think the biggest story, though, and these are probably names very few people know unless they're out there at their courses playing golf. Natalie Yen and Asia Young have teamed up and won the U.S. Women's Amateur Four Ball, which is a newer-ish event run by the USGA, but both teenagers, and so they will be exempt. The U.S. Women's Amateur is going to be at Bandon Dunes here, but what a thrill for them. What have you found out about them? One is already, are they both lined up with college scholarships or just one of them so far?
It's just Natalie Yen so far. She's going to Texas A&M in the fall, and so a big-time program as well. The program made the NCAA regional, but they just missed the cut, I think, by one spot in making it to the actual NCAA championship. So a team that's right there. And then as far as Asia Young, I think she's getting close to that time as well. I think she's 16, so she's getting kind of close to that timeline. And she's hinted at wanting to play somewhere where she can play year round. So
yeah, no question. How did these two hook up? Because Natalie's from Westland and Asia's from Bend. So do you know the story of how they got together as a team?
No, that's a great question. I didn't come across that, but they had played in this event last year in the U.S. Women's Amateur Four Ball, and they lost. So they made it through stroke play and then into the first day of match play, and they ended up losing, I think, in 19 holes on the first day. So they had, the experience of playing in the tournament before, but then they were, I think that camaraderie and that, their friendship, because, they've said that they're friends before they even, were teammates. So somehow maybe even through the game of golf connected them somehow via tournaments or, playing in events. But yeah, kind of an interesting combo of Westland and Bend coming together to, bring home the trophy.
Well, again, all these articles are up at OregonGolfBeat.com. And unfortunately, we're cutting it close here on time, Josh. We'll definitely have to hook back up later in the season. What are you looking forward to here? What's next? The high school season is over now. I think we had the Oregon Junior going on at the OGA course this weekend. But what are you looking for? What are the big junior events for local golfers coming up here soon?
Yeah, the OGA junior golf has a ton of they have a lot of majors going on this summer, and then I think, like you mentioned, the PGA section of junior championship is going on today and tomorrow at OGA, and then I think the winners and the runners up qualify for the national PGA junior championship, which would be later this summer. And then also there's an amateur event in June that the winner of that event goes on to play at the Portland Classic. I think that's coming up in June as well, and that's at Columbia Edgewater. But just those are the main things, and then probably regional junior tournaments as well that are kind of on the West Coast.
Fantastic. Well, if you haven't subscribed and you want to know who are some of the names here locally to find out about or keep an eye on, go to OregonGolfBeat.com. Josh Gott, thank you so much for taking a few minutes for us here this morning. And I think as the summer goes on, we'll definitely catch back up and see if there's some more names to add to this list.
Yes. I think there's a lot more to come from Oregon, and definitely great things. So thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
There you go. Thanks, Josh. And we will follow up with Josh. And again, the articles are up at OregonGolfBeat.com, as well as George Fox, the D3 program down there, when it finished fourth at the D3 NCAA Golf Championships, and Allison Takamiya taking third place individually. So just a great resource there and a lot of time and effort goes into hunting those stories down. When we come back, we're making the turn. Time to turn our attention back to your game and developing it, whether you are an experienced single-digit handicap, whether you're just getting into it, whether you're trying to get your kids or other family members into it. Hunter Westcott, our buddy, was with Northwest Golf Guys. He is now the PGA Associate Director of Player Development for Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club. He joins us talking about a lot of different programs and ways to improve your game. He joins us next, making the turn here. It's Golf in the Northwest on 1080 The Fan.
It's the
One here, Golf in the Northwest, Center and Saint following us, and then tonight 4:30 pregame, 5 o'clock tip, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA playoffs. And we'll see if the Pacers can close out the Knicks or if it'll be Game 7 on Monday back at MSG. Ducks baseball, they had a controversial loss in their opener of the Eugene Regional, so they are in the losers bracket this morning taking on Cal Poly. That'll be a noon first pitch. It'll be over on 9:10 beginning at 11:45. But it is time for the business of golf, which means we are having back on Hunter Westcott, PGA Associate Director of Player Development, now over at Pumpkin Ridge. We talked to him last year on the show and heard all about kind of his journey growing up here at Westview, playing some great high school golf and going all the way to Dominican College back in New York and delivered them to heights that they had not yet been with that golf program. But now is over at Pumpkin Ridge, and I know you had a blast with the Northwest Golf Guys, Hunter, but, obviously working in their simulation setup that they had. But how is it to go from that all the way over to Pumpkin Ridge, which has hosted championships at all different levels?
Oh, man. Well, thank you for having me on again, man. I really appreciate it. And, this whole year has been kind of crazy from the get-go. Golf Guys has taken care of me for the last 3 years, and it was a great transition over to Pumpkin. They were very supportive of everything, but man, the atmosphere to be around a course that's got an incredible history with Tiger being probably the big one out there, but just being around both Ghost and Witch out there, and all of the staff, John Kwaso really keeping us humble.
Yep.
No, it's been fantastic. The transition's been amazing.
Well, and how is it now coming in to both, one of the unique facilities that both handles public play as well as has a private membership and its own course over there? What's been the biggest adjustment trying to develop programs for both sides of the house?
Oh, no, yeah. So for me, with clinics and getting ready to kind of open up more as the year goes on here, you know, being able to target our members and make sure that the members know that there's clinics available to them, being able to help them develop their games and get better. You know, Operation 36 has been a big one for me. It's a great way to kind of start people out instead of teeing it up from the back tees. They get to move up and, you know, start close to the green and develop their game going backwards. That one's been a huge one. And honestly, the members have let me know that they want more. So I'm working my hardest to try to add as much as I can. But then, you know, I've got other ideas kind of in the books right now, but, you know, it's going to be accessible to both public and private. So really open to anyone that's looking to kind of develop their game and get better. You know, I am all available to everyone in whatever they need: putting, chipping, driving accuracy, understand how to play on the course. You know, everything is available to everyone, and I hope to be there for everybody and whatever they need.
Well, yeah, and I'm one. The Operation 36 is not. I think I'm wondering if you have some program set up for people that know the game. Like, they've been out there, they understand how etiquette works and you know, some of those sorts of rules, as opposed to brand new players or newer-ish players. But they're wanting to focus in on, okay, that's where you score, and your swing at this, you know, at some point. But really honing in, or maybe, you know, something's happened, you've had shoulder surgery, you've had to alter your swing from what it was due to this, that, or the other thing. Are there Operation 36 for experienced players?
Yeah, you know, Operation 36 is great just because it is open to anybody of any skill level. But usually once I get players that have kind of advanced kind of past the Operation 36 level, I tend to get more into the one-on-one stage where we start to really talk about their game, especially if they've had injuries or something like that. I want to make sure that when we talk about getting better, that it's more specialized towards them. You know, if they have a shoulder problem and they cannot get into a normal position, or what, you know, the typical golf swing look,
Yeah.
right? I want to make it more specific to them, and I want them to understand why we're going down that route. And, you know, when they go play the courses, especially for the more experienced players or the, you know, the single digit handicappers, I want to make sure that they are understanding course management. How do you navigate bunkers and water? Why do we take this club versus this club? And some of that you start to develop in Operation 36. As you start to move back, you know, obstacles start to come into play. You start seeing a couple bunkers that are green side. And then you start to, maybe as you get farther back, see more water hazards come into play. But especially for those more advanced players, I like to go more one-on-one, and then you start to do more on-course management and understanding how to kind of navigate.
Chatting here with Hunter Westcott, the Director of Player Development, now over at Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club, joining them in April. So just a few months on the job. He's still figuring out where the paper clips are to a certain extent. Also continuing to play very competitively, fourth right now in the year-long race amongst the OPGA. The pros, the tournaments that you guys compete in here in the area, and always looking to keep the golf game sharp. Where is your game at? And it's a familiar list for people. I think most of these guys have been on the show. Jared Lambert out there at Astoria's third, Scott Erdman over at OLCC in fifth, and Chad Fribley from Persimmon there in first place. All have been guests with us over the years. So, Where's your game at, and how has it changed, and how is having kind of a new job affected your ability to practice and keep it sharp?
Oh yeah, no, that list. So the Player of the Year list has been awesome to keep track of, and I got a couple messages after last year's Player of the Year kind of awards coming out, and a lot of congratulations. But then obviously the immediate switch was, it's not going to be that easy next year. I got a big target on my head after last year. So, no, it's been awesome. And honestly, Chad Fribley, Nick Huff, Jared, Scott, and honestly, that list goes deep to Jesse Heinley. There's a lot of extremely talented players in the Oregon chapter. And for me, like, trying to get my game in shape, because all these guys are kind of target hunting and shooting some fantastic scores, a lot of 67, 6s, 5s. It's definitely making you have to score, have to go low, have to compete. And so, we've got a couple of events coming up with the Callaway Invitational. We got the Oregon Open. And so, getting my game in check is definitely a big one. I conveniently cracked my driver on Friday, so that was really a good start.
Oh.
So, yeah, there's a couple of things that I need to get tuned up real quick, or, TaylorMade's helping me out and getting that fixed up. But, yeah, the whole year has been great, and these guys are out to get ahead or something. So it's been fun.
Well, yeah, and as you mentioned, won the Player of the Year a season ago. As you start to gear up for these bigger events, as we get into summer and your local course or club starts building towards their big club championships, their bigger events, a lot of them do U.S. Open style events where they will get the greens as fast as they go, maybe let the rough grow more, those sorts of things. Assuming you have been playing regularly and you're not starting from scratch too late, what are the things now that you will move into to make sure your game is sharp and you're looking to score as opposed to just working on mechanics and fundamentals maybe earlier in the spring?
Yeah, I think, and I think this goes for not just me, but, all players when they're trying to get better as the year goes on. Summer kicks in, the rough at most courses starts to get a little bit thicker. The greens start to get a little bit firmer. And so I think, and this goes for all players, real big emphasis on short game, being able to navigate greens and get up and down when you miss the greens. A good iron player is going to take advantage of being in fairways, whereas the rough gets thick. And so it's going to be hard to hold those greens. And so, as the summer starts to kick in, I think, myself as well as other players included, got to be focused on the short game, be a good putter, be a good chipper, get out of trouble. That's going to save you so many strokes over this year.
And we know now on the private side, having been out there when the Winco Foods Portland Open used to be there with the Korn Ferry Tour, the great short game practice area that's there. But on the public side, again, in addition to the driving range, it's a full, short game area. I know there's some bunkers over to the left there. How can the public take advantage of all the facilities there to work on the short game?
Yeah, no, with Ghost, you can definitely take advantage. It is full access. So the range, you'd have to pay for balls like any other course, but short game wise, the putting green is massive. So it's a great way where you can kind of go and seclude yourself a little bit and not be bothered by people. If you wanted to kind of put yourself away in a corner, you can go and just practice putting nonstop. And there's a lot of slopes on those greens, so you can practice big breaking putts or, those short 3-footers that get a little testy when you absolutely need them. But otherwise, no, the chipping area, same thing, full access. You can go over there. There's a bunker on the backside, so when you need to work on those sand shots, it's nice. There's a big lip to it. as well as, you know, a lot of really good areas around the green where there's some hills that you got to chip down, chip up, you know, what happens when the ball's below your feet. So you can really test out a bunch of different kind of positions you could be in on the golf course, but full access to everybody.
I got to imagine superintendents around the area have been dancing most of this spring. It has been as mild and even. We haven't had the extremes into the spring that we've experienced the last few years. So I got to imagine the course is as pristine as we've seen it at this time of the year in quite some time.
Oh, yeah. No, this course is both courses are in incredible shape. I remember when they punched those greens, it feels like they healed up in like 4 days. I mean, it was crazy watching them grow so fast. And then, you know, they love to keep the green speeds up out there. So they are not slow.
No.
They are moving great, and they are rolling very smooth. So if you want a good place to come out and practice, I mean, you're not going to find much purer than these.
When you're working with somebody, putting is where I probably struggle the most consistently, and it's with green speed. So obviously, have you found any sort of training aids, training guides, drills that you like to help people get there and be able to gauge speed?
Yeah. Yo, you're talking my language, man. Putting is my thing. That's my favorite area. So especially with green speeds, as these greens start to get faster, you know, there's a couple different ways to kind of look at it. You could look at your putting stroke, which I know a lot of people will probably go straight to that as like how to fix the problem. And sometimes, you know, I love to use visual aids instead. One of the big ones is as you start to get out those 25 and 30-foot ranges and beyond, right, we're just trying to get the ball close to the hole. And so what I love to do is I like to take an alignment stick and just lay it out about 3 feet behind the cup and see how many times you can take 10 balls, drop them out from 20-plus feet, and just see how many putts you can get to stop between the cup and that alignment stick. First couple times might get away from you, but over time you're going to start to develop a little bit more feel and, you know, how fast are they moving. And sometimes when that's the end goal is just stop it before the alignment stick, your speed is going to get very, very under control quickly.
There you go. For people that are interested, that aren't already members out there at Pumpkin Ridge, whether it's the Operation 36 programs that you've got, maybe some individual stuff going on, would like some lessons, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, anyone can get in touch with me at my email. My email is hwescott, that's WESCOTT, at pumpkinridge.com.
Fantastic. Well, I may be coming to see you for some putting because it's driving me absolutely up the wall here as we get into things, but hopefully a few more. And we'll look forward to watching you. I know we're keeping an eye on the Callaway Invitational, the Oregon Open, some of the other bigger events here for the club pros in the region. So hopefully we'll see your name up top the leaderboards as well. Hunter Wescott, the new Director of Player Development out at Pumpkin Ridge. Congratulations on that, and we look forward to chatting with you again down the road.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll see you at Pumpkin soon.
Hopefully, very much so. Thanks so much, Hunter. There we go, Hunter Wescott. And yes, very excited and an easy guy, as you can tell there. If you're looking to really develop parts of your game, the short game, we've talked to him on a couple of different occasions and have met with them and just loves the game, loves to teach the game. And so head on out again, pumpkinridge.com. You can just go there about the courses, tee times, rates, all that. Look for golf and any instruction. And then hwescott with 2 T's at pumpkinridge.com if you're wanting to get in touch with Hunter. When we come back, they are underway. Round 3, the U.S. Women's Open, the 80th edition of it. The leaders will be teeing off in about an hour. Mal Saigo looking to double up with majors, but Nelly Korda leads a backlog of players at 5 under par. Can she keep it going from her 5 under round yesterday and get her first victory of the season. We'll discuss how much the LPGA Tour needs that to happen as we wrap things up. It's Golf in the Northwest on 1080 The Fan.
I believe you deserve.
Are back here wrapping things up. Thanks again to Hunter Westcott and Josh Gaunt for joining us this morning. We'll post the podcast if you want to go back and catch any pieces of those. Those will be posted after the show. But it is U.S. Open week for the women, the 80th edition, playing Erin Hills. Hopefully the weather cooperating. And we're seeing some low numbers, a couple of players 2 under here in the opening holes as they had to finish up the second round this morning. There was thunderstorms and lightning late in the day on Friday, but they are headed out split tees. And so the leaders, your final group is Mao Saigo, who is your leader, 8 under par, won the Chevron earlier this year, the 2024 Rookie of the Year on the LPGA Tour. Nelly Korda at 5 under, and Hanako Shibuno, also from Japan, at 5 under. Sarah Schmelzel and Maya Stark, Yalimi No, the other players at 5 under. They're in the second to last group. And Alim Kim at 5 under, the only previous U.S. Open winner that is in the top 10 on the leaderboard. You got to go down. Arya Jutanagarn at 3 under, currently tied for 14th. Has won one. Minji Lee has won one at 2 under. Inji Chun at 1 under. And one other American, Allison Corpuz, a few years back, made the cut at +1. Do want to shout out Kiara Romero, the sophomore from the University of Oregon, who led them to a semifinal appearance at the NCAA Women's Golf Championship, won the Big Ten tournament, won the NCAA Regional. She did make the cut on the number at +1 and will be teeing off later this morning. So congratulations to her, one of 3 or 4 amateurs to make the cut. But all those names I just rattled off, they're Big Will. Any of them besides Nelly Corda that you have ever heard of?
No, I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's
No, and
just-
I'm asking this for a reason. I mean, you are interested in golf.
I enjoy golf. I enjoy watching golf. If it is sometimes if it's not even a big tournament with the men, I'll tune into it. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, if the big 2 to 3 women golfers aren't in the hunt, I don't know that I'm gonna tune in.
Yeah, Lexi Thompson, who is not playing a full season anymore, did not make the cut at +3. Jennifer Kupcho at +3. Rose Zhang, who has taken some time off this year, at +2, trying to get her game back together. None of them made the cut. And then some of the names that people might know from years past, not even in the field this year. And so the LPGA, now with its new commissioner, Craig Kessler, coming over from the PGA of America, she needs to win this, quite frankly, for the LPGA right now. Needs to draw a little attention to them as they get into their summer schedule. They will have the LPGA Championship coming up, and then the 2 in Europe, the Evian and the Women's Open Championship. She's going to have to be a little bit Tiger-esque and see if she can go on the run she did last year when she dominated, to help draw more attention so people can learn more about some of the great young names and players that are out there performing. But, she's going to have to be – all boats rise with the – she's going to have to be the rising tide for the LPGA Tour, and she needs to win this weekend. So There you go. We'll see. We'll follow it up next week, see how we do. We'll turn it over. Thanks, Will. We'll talk to you next Saturday. Luke is waiting in the wings for another edition of Sinner and State. Until then, I'm Jason. Hit 'em straight.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, you got one NBA playoff game going on today. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference takes place in Indianapolis. Pacers are favored to win that game at 3.5. That would give them the series win over the Knicks. Knicks are going to have to win if they want to force a Game 7 back in Madison Square Garden. Tip-off for that game is going to be at 5, and that game can be heard here on 1080 The Fan. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new
Hey, happy Saturday morning, all you beautiful radio listeners. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. Let's check in with the most important man, Will Ortner. What's going on, dude?
What's up?
Is that your thing? Is that what you're doing?
I think it was a thing in like the 90s.
It was.
I don't really have a thing. I just kind of do what I feel in the moment. And I
Yeah?
felt like a was Was that a Bud Light commercial?
Budweiser.
Budweiser.
It was a little short film that a couple guys did that got bought into an ad that went viral before things went viral. It was one of those things that caught on, and they took it to the extreme. Like they went as far as they possibly could with that. They got all the life out of that bit they could. But yeah,
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You want to know about the first thing that
It's
went
great.
viral that they took to the full extreme?
Oh, I'm sure that it's
South
well
Park.
before. No,
South Park.
they
South
definitely
Park-
did, but it wasn't the first thing.
That's the first one that I think
Yeah,
of,
that's what I
and
was
what
gonna
I
say.
say
You're-
goes. You gonna check me at 9 a.m. on a Saturday? No, you're not.
Yeah, well, listen.
You just make stuff up.
Things have always been taken to the extreme. Colonialism is one thing that I think of. The Roman Empire went to the extreme.
Yeah.
How far back do you want to go, my friend? I feel
Oh, I'm
like,
reading an Alexander Hamilton book. Let's go
Okay,
there. His entire life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's kind of human nature. When things are working, it's like, oh, let's do more of it.
Yeah.
You know how many canals we were going to build in this country before somebody's like, dude, railroads are way cheaper. Like they were ready to like put a canal through the Appalachian Mountain Range from like DC to
Yes.
Ohio. Like
Yes.
they build the Erie Canal and they're like, this is awesome. There was so much money approved. The whole country was just gonna be Venice. It was
That
gonna
rocks.
be, yeah. But then they went, oh yeah, no, this train thing came along, and we'll kind of do with that. Like you read any history, like
Yeah.
everybody was always ready to go to the full extreme. So what's that is basically just like, I don't know, Caligula going, hey, if we're gonna party, let's
Might
take it
as
to
well.
the extreme.
I love
Like,
how that started out as like a, where did that stupid "Was Up" commercial come from? And then we got to Caligula.
You're
and
welcome.
all of
Hey,
his
you know
crazy
what?
parties.
Hey, listen, it's a Saturday morning. This is what we do on the City.
This is what we should do,
Yes,
man.
absolutely.
I love it. I've got all kinds of stories.
Oh, do you?
Well, I think I got a story you'd enjoy.
Okay, well, hey, lay it on me, brother.
The
we
boys-
did a show together yesterday.
We
Barely
did.
got to talk to you.
This happened. Well, that was your time.
Hey, no,
was your time.
I got no beef with it, but now we got time to chat. So let's hear your
We
stories.
do. Well, last night the boys were in town, so we went out.
These are the boys ready to buy.
Well, it's the boys of the boys. You know, like when your friend has the college friends come back into town, you got to go meet the new college friends.
Gotcha.
So we're going around, and they are not from around here. So we did.
Where are they from? Are they Eastern Washington kids?
A couple. So a couple
Okay.
Eastern Washington, couple up north in that Seattle area.
I feel like Central. So this is all Central.
No, these
Okay.
are WSU bros.
Gotcha.
I'm hanging out with
Gotcha.
the Cougs.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're
I've,
putting down.
Yeah, well, you know, big cats, they all hang out together.
Oh,
As
I
a
see.
wildcat, I can
see what
hang
you
out
did
with
there.
the Cougs.
The big cats all
That's
hang
right.
together. I was going to say that Central Washington's population is probably what, like 90% Washington State residents?
Oh, it's got to be more, especially now that rugby's not around.
So there you go. When rugby was around, so 98%. Like how
Oh,
high
yeah.
are you thinking?
Whatever my height is, percentile, that's
99
how
and a half.
many. That's how
It's
many.
an in-state
are
institution.
Washington, yes.
So that was the question I was going to ask, but now Wazoo, it's probably still pretty high.
I bet you it's 85.
85. Okay.
I bet you 80 to 85 is Washington high school graduates.
Okay. So all these are Washington bros
Yep.
coming in, but they're not Hawkinson bros.
No, they're not Hawkinson
And
bros.
do you hang out like
We are
boys-
hanging out with the Hawkinson bros.
you hanging out in Hawkinson?
No.
Or you're going down to the Hawkinson market and getting some Umpqua ice cream?
Well, I will be doing that later
Yeah, you
because
will.
it is fun days. And
Hey,
I
there you go.
love me some Hawkinson Market ice cream.
Well,
And if
come
you'd
on.
like to dunk me in a dunk tank, you can head on over there at
Ooh.
2:05. I'll be in from 2:05 to 2:20. I
Can you
believe.
do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you talk to the dunk tank operators and
I
see
will
what it'll
talk.
take to get that out at the 12th annual Fan Golf Classic?
I will talk to the swim team
Yeah, we
because
need
I'm
to get-
pretty sure that's who's running it.
There you go. Get the swim team. We'll dunk the Hawkinson swim team at as an homage to Jeff Austin,
There you go.
and then we'll do that. We had the first year that I did it. I believe we had a fangirls dunk tank.
I'm sure the fan boys dunk tank will go over just as well.
Yeah. Well, there is a kind of a bastardized dunk tank that they make.
Yeah.
And it's just like a bucket of water with a little target that you hit. And I was playing in a golf tournament. That's a lot easier than the dunk tank. And then it's just somebody in your foursome gets under there, somebody else throws a thing. And,
Yeah.
you know,
That's not
I don't know
this
how
one.
often you chuck a baseball without warming up, but it always ends up hurting your arm. Totally worth it to dunk the guy that was in my group. First shot, dead center. He took 3 shots, got me back, but yeah, it's
I
good
love
times.
that.
So your boys are in town. So what's the plan when they come in? Are you doing Portland? You doing the waterfront?
So that's the thing. So the boys came into town. The guy who was in the fraternity with all those guys, he's kind of running point guard right now. He's made all the decisions. So Friday night, they wanted to go and see Portland a little bit.
Okay.
So we took them to a couple different spots in Portland. And last night, there was a situation that I think you would love.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So
Lay it on me.
we walk into the bar, and the boys have been having a good night, you know, whatever. We need to find a table so we can go sit down. We're going to talk, chat up, have a couple beers, whatever. Well, as we're sitting down, all of a sudden, Sexy Back comes on, Justin Timberlake.
Sure. Yeah.
And as soon as we sit down, a random individual who I would describe as Skinny Jesus.
Okay.
Jumps-
Is he bringing Sexy back?
Not only was he bringing Sexy back, he was bringing Anti-Gravity back because he was on top of the table.
Oh, look at that. And now, real quick,
Yes.
we thinking that Jesus wasn't skinny?
That's how skinny this
Okay.
guy was.
All right.
I just
Okay.
want
I
that.
got you.
Like,
Gotcha.
we're not quite to Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama skinny, but we've got the long hair. There's a little bit of facial hair going on. Probably shouldn't be going on if you catch my drift.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting
But
down.
dude's up on top and he's dancing. And
Okay.
he's having a grand old time.
Is he with people?
See, and this is where it gets interesting. So he's just dancing on the table, and we're all like, oh, ha, 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 super funny. Security guard did not find it funny.
Interesting. That seems odd.
So security guard comes over and gets him down, and you would have thought that this guy just told him that his mother was fat. Like, he is freaking out.
Ready for a
the
fight.
security guard is like, dude, you can't dance on tables. He's like, what do you mean? Why can't I?
Yeah. If
That
I could
guy-
walk on water, I could
could do
dance on
this.
tables. So.
Well, and then he points to some bro on the other side, and he's like, he bet me $30 that I wouldn't dance on the table.
Hey.
And the security guard's like, I understand that. You still have to leave. You can't dance on the tables. He goes, but what you don't understand is he paid me $30.
That's fine. Did he get his $30?
Oh, gosh, no. No,
Ah.
he got kicked out. Well, no.
Well, yeah, but he still earned the $30.
No, I don't think he was even bet the $30. I
Ah.
think Skinny Jesus made this stuff up in his head.
Really?
Because he's up there trying to point, security's trying to kick him out, and then what I thought was a second security guard came in and roughly escorted him out of the building.
Yeah.
And then when the second security guard came back, he had 2 beers in his hands.
Yeah.
And then I realized
He was just another guy helping
he
out.
was another bro.
He was a good Samaritan.
He made a citizen's arrest, came in, grabbed dude, threw him out.
You know what he did? He goes, here's an opportunity to rough up a guy.
100%.
Let's do it. All right.
And he looks exactly out of central casting.
Yeah.
If you're like,
Yeah.
who would make a citizen's arrest if I could build that stereotype? Shorter dude, probably he likes working out. Let's just leave it. Let's say it that way. A lot of tattoos. Aggressively was trying to get me to go to the casino, even though I still don't know his name.
Yeah. What would it cost to get you to dance on a table?
Depends on the setting.
Okay.
It might might be
in
easier
the bar
tonight.
that you were in last night. What would it have cost to get you onto the table?
At least $100.
Okay.
At least
So
$100.
$30 not doing it for you.
No.
The other
no.
question that I have, because you gave me Skinny Jesus, I needed a better description of the bouncer guy. Like central casting works. Have you ever seen the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Parts,
Okay.
not fully. That's one of those classic like TNT pops on after a game type movies.
Very much so, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The only time I watched that movie was years ago. First moved back to Portland, went to the Laurelhurst Theater.
Okay.
And the Laurelhurst Theater's old theater, and they took out like every other row of seats to put in tables. They do like full pizza, beers, whatever. So you get a pitcher of beer, pizza, sit down and watch a movie. But there is a scene in said movie where they're in the bar and they have strategically cast people that look like celebrities with a key difference. So they just float around the bar and going, oh, you mean Native American Steven Seagal? And they point to a guy and it looks just like, and this is what I want you to watch. And then when you bring the descriptions of people, I think that could be something that you could do very well.
I can come in with new ideas on Skinny Jesus.
Yes, well, Skinny Jesus is fine. I can picture him.
There you
I'm picturing Jesus, who in my mind is already skinny. The funniest one is Buff
Jesus
Buff
rocks.
Blue-eyed Jesus.
Yes.
Is one of the funnier things. I'm pretty sure he lived 2,000 years ago in the Middle East. But sure, blue eyes,
That's right.
long flowing locks, like perfect Pantene Pro V hair.
6'1".
And-
Yeah.
Oh, 6'2", easy.
100%.
Jacked,
8
big
pack.
hands. Yeah, just shredded, buffed out Jesus. Blue-eyed Jesus is the sweet little baby Jesus.
Well,
Blue-eyed.
I'll tell you that right now.
6 ounce, 8 pounds, baby Jesus.
This guy wasn't that.
Yeah. He's
Now-
an anorexic Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
he cleared like have one beer and be drunk Jesus because of body weight size. Yep,
Hence,
100%.
$30 gets him dancing on a table.
Oh yeah.
All
Well, and then the best part, and I guess I kind of buried the lead on it, is we were on the rooftop. He had to get kicked down
Yeah.
the stairs. And so for the next 10 minutes, there was a scuffle between security guard, fake security guard, bro, and Skinny Jesus getting him down. The whole time, guess what he was screaming?
What's that?
But he offered me $30. You
his
don't
fault.
understand. It was $30.
What's the most embarrassing place you've ever been escorted out of or asked to leave from?
I don't know that I've ever been asked to leave or escorted out of anywhere.
Wow.
See,
when I was a teenager, this was, not my proudest moment, but like when we had time to kill before, say, a high school party or whatever,
yeah.
we would go to Fred Meyer's expressly with the intention of being asked to leave Fred Meyer's. There's a lot of ways to do it. We used to go and sit in like the patio furniture
Yeah.
section and play like superstar shopper, and it would be like, all right, Megan, you got to go and get cottage cheese, and Frank, you got to go and get out, pick up some tampons, and they would run through the store as fast as they can, and whoever got back to the furniture section first would win. And then they'd have to go and return those. The next person would have to go and return those and find the other item. We'd play that. We'd play street hockey in the sporting good aisle. We'd play whatever games we could.
You ever ride around on a bike?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100% would ride around on bikes. 100%. And the fun thing about Fred Meyer's, because you could do it at Target, but they don't really have a grocery section. You ride a bicycle down a grocery aisle, that throws people off.
It's very, very funny. And it's the ultimate, like for me and my buddies, now we were Walmart, which I think is probably why we never got kicked out.
They were like, these guys are great.
They're like, at least we're keeping these kids away from drugs and alcohol.
See,
because
Walmart opened right around the time I graduated from high school, the one on Mill Point. Okay. So we didn't have Walmarts. But that would be much harder to get kicked out of, I would imagine.
Yeah, they don't really kick you out. And again, I swear, I think that the people of Walmart, the Walmarters, they viewed it as like a civic duty or a civic service because my buddies and I,
great work, guys.
We weren't drinking or doing drugs, and it's like we're in a Walmart from 10 to 1 in the morning, and they didn't care. It was like, hey, they haven't broken anything. They're not stealing anything because they're gonna come back here next weekend.
They're always here.
Like, maybe they thought we were dorks. They're like, look at these nerds.
Can I be honest?
Yeah,
you were. So were we.
Yes.
So were we.
Yeah.
Totally good with that. We used to go to Sherry's, intentionally get thrown out, which is great because usually they don't make you pay.
Should have gotten thrown out of Sherry's.
Been thrown out of Sherry's. The most embarrassing local place. Multiple times got asked to leave Crosley Lanes.
How do you get asked to leave? They ask people to. They beg people to come in.
Yeah, they do. They do. If you do enough headfirst slides down the lane. Also, if okay, if a pin goes into the gutter, outside of like the gate to close it, there's only one way to get it out of the lane. If you roll a ball down the lane, if
as hard as you can.
If the shallow part is there, it's just going to pop over it. If the high part's there, it's going to stick the ball behind it. You're not going to get it out. The only way to really get it out of the lane, you have to get the ball to go in right at the point where the pin is stuck. So if you can get it just right where the ball goes into the gutter on top of the pin, both will eject. But what happened when I did that, I threw it as hard as I could, and I made that work. The pin went into the south wall of the building and stuck into the drywall, and the ball shot up and hit what I did not know at the time. Do you know what material the panel above the lane is?
Well, now that you're saying it, I feel like it could possibly break. I would have said like a plastic or something.
It is sheet metal, and it goes over two lanes, and the piece will fall down if it gets struck by a bowling ball, and it's very loud. And so if you knock down that sheet metal and stick a pin into the wall, they ask you to leave pretty quickly. So
that seems fair.
Few times I've been asked to leave Crosley Lanes. That might be the most embarrassing. Not allowed back in the Mall of America, I'm told. And the Boom Boom Room in Southeast Portland asked me to leave sternly. So, unfortunately, in my youth, I wasn't always the most well-behaved.
I was going to say.
And I apologize. I apologize to anybody that's listening that had to escort me out of a place for me being a moron.
I don't believe I was escorted or asked to leave any public establishment.
I'm disappointed in you.
There was a house.
You're still in the years where you can get away with it and go, I was young and I was dumb.
I don't know.
But you're right on the edge.
I was going to say, I think that one I missed out on. There's a couple things where I just have to look at and go, yeah, I probably missed out on that. And that, like, spring break, I probably missed out on that. I'm too old. It is what it is. I made my choices, and I have to live with them now.
I will say I don't think I've been thrown out of a place since your age. So this was all probably pre-21, most of it.
Yeah.
Other than the Mall of America, I may have urinated on the doors as I was leaving the main entrance after getting very, very drunk with Hooters girls.
I would see why they asked you to leave. I don't. No public establishment, private establishments. I've been asked to leave.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I stand by most of those.
All right. Well, it's not a good day for baseball. yesterday, if you are a Northwest baseball fan.
Yeah.
So we will run through the tide of misery to start things off. If you'd like to join us in our lamenting of the performances, stick around. Sinner and Saint, 1080 The Fan.
Market volatility.
Today, Will, going to the Mariners game today. I'm pretty excited about it. Taking the Twins to see the Twins. It's an annual tradition. Grandpa's going with us. It's going to be a great time. As soon as the show's over, we'll get up there for the 4:15 first pitch. Shouldn't be a problem. Very excited about it. But last night was a tough watch.
It was brutal.
So Anthony Munoz has not given up
Not a run.
extra base hit.
He
Not
had
given up a
0
run.
ERA.
Had not given up more than one hit in a game. He has 2 outs and a 3-run lead in the bottom of the ninth. Or I'm sorry, top of the ninth. And gives up the 3 runs. They go in tied, and no time in the history of Major League Baseball that is known has a team ever won by 6 runs when being down 3 or more runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. They put up 6 in extra innings. The second game in a row that the Mariners give up 6 in extras. 7, I believe, they gave up against the Nationals in the final game at home of that series, what they should have won, a team well below 500. Not only do the Mariners lose in historic fashion in a 12-6 extra innings loss after a 9-3 extra innings loss, but now they have dropped to second place. Absolutely brutal finish for the Mariners yesterday and the day before, and that's coming off a 9-0 whooping by the Washington Nationals as well. So it's been a bad week. Both the Beavers and the Ducks lose in their opening games for the College Baseball World Series. It was not a good day to be a baseball fan. Tell me where the silver lining is in anything that happened yesterday.
Well, if you're a Duck fan, the silver lining is that you can say college baseball rigged. And just say, nope, that's Bush League. Our guy who had clearly was going to score.
Yeah.
That was not a catcher, or sorry, it was not a malicious hit. He wasn't trying to Pete Rose and run through the catcher. You lose by 1 run. That would have been the tying run. What happens in extras, who knows?
Yeah.
So if you're a Duck fan, you can at least cry foul and say, this is Bush. Like
Duck. Cry foul.
Yeah,
I see what you did.
I'm reading a book. I'm learned and I'm very
smart.
smart.
Guy. You're an educator.
That's right. SMRT.
That's right.
Few built like me.
There you go.
But if you're the Beavers and the Mariners, it's early enough to where you can go, hey, this is a bummer. That sucks, especially with Cal Raleigh getting to 21 home runs on the year. Like he's on an absolute tear.
Catcher ever to have 20 home runs before the end of May.
Right.
And he put up 2 last night, so he's at 21.
And I bet on him. Yeah,
he's
it's great.
Got a 2 home run lead in the overall home run lead in baseball. He's still an MVP candidate. He is great. The wild thing about the Mariners really is if you look at it, here's the silver lining that I see with the Mariners. If you look at the stats, outside of hits and average, which you would think at some point could improve slightly, they are in the top half of the league in every offensive category. Yeah. They are not, other than saves, they are not in the top half of any pitching category. George Kirby has been awful in 2 starts, but he didn't have a spring training, and you don't expect him to come out and just light things on fire.
Right.
You've got Logan Gilbert making rehab starts. You have no Bryce Miller. So you've been kind of putting together this pitching staff with spare parts.
And the young kids look good.
They do. Well,
they do. Evans looks good. Hancock, aside from 1 or 2 starts,
other than get demoted right away,
right?
But coming back, he's been really good. But yeah, so you have a lot to be optimistic about that the pitching will get better. There's enough guys hitting the ball well that I don't think it's a mirage. Terrible April for Julio. He's been really good in May. Both he and Cal Raleigh are in the top 5, I think, in runs scored. Polanco was on fire in April, has cooled off. Ben Williamson's been hitting the ball pretty well. The question is, are they going to be buyers when we get closer to the trade deadline? Are they going to go out and try and add another bat? Are they going to get healthy in the pitching staff? So I think there's a lot. The thing that really gets me is, man, I hate falling behind those stupid Astros.
Right.
You lose 3 out of 4 to the Astros, then they take the lead in the division. I mean, they've just been such a thorn in the side. I don't think they're built the same way they have been in years past. But I remember before the Astros made their surge, I looked at the win-loss records, and the Mariners and the Astros had the exact same wins and losses against the rest of baseball. Head-to-head, the Astros won like 19 out of 20 or however many games they played. It was just staggering. The Astros have absolutely owned the Mariners over the last decade, it feels like. Even before the Astros were winning World Series, they were whooping up on the Mariners. So a lot of baseball left, but yesterday was a very disappointing one. So need to get a bounce back against the Twins today, because first thing this morning, my 8-year-old daughter wakes up and starts talking trash.
That's right, because they're Twins fans, because They are twins.
That's right. So they've got their twins gear ready to go. They're
fantastic.
they're hanging out with Grandpa right now. Like I said, we'll just scream by and grab them on the way up to Seattle. But she's talking trash. She goes, I don't think they've ever won when we've gone to a game. They won last year. It was on my birthday. So shut up.
They won. You're wrong.
I think. Actually, I don't know if we went to the game on my birthday or the day after. They did win the series. They took 2 out of 3. The Twins did from the Mariners at home last year. But they did win. I even pulled it up because I'm like, I thought they won one. We ended up going to 2 games because, listen, one of the games was Hawaiian shirt night.
Well, you have to go.
So we had to go to that, and we already had tickets for the next day. So me and Grandpa went to both games, but the whole family went to Hawaiian shirt night. So we're flush with Mariners Aloha shirts, which is fantastic.
that just makes sense. I would really like their Central Washington jersey that they had.
Oh, they had a Central Washington.
They did. Oh yeah, I got all kinds of Seattle Mariners Central merch.
Okay.
It's a. Maybe I'll get you some.
Oh, there you go.
I'll work
There you
on
go.
it. I'll talk to my
men's large.
I'll talk to my people. You talk to your people. We'll do our best.
Yeah.
I think the most frustrating thing though for the Mariners in that loss is how well Raleigh played. How well
Brian Wu
Arozarena.
pitched.
Right. Well, and it feels like you're wasting Wu at times because he hasn't had a single start where it hasn't been a quality start.
He has pitched
He's awesome
into
right
the
now.
6th in every start,
And
it's some sort of record.
And they've all been quality, I believe.
Yep.
Or if he has
Yep.
9, it's like 7 of the 9 or 8 of the 9. It's unbelievable.
Where did you have him in your power ranking of starters? 4th or 5th?
I think I'm a little higher on Wu.
But you didn't have him ahead of Logan Gilbert coming into the season, like going into.
No, it was Gilbert, Kirby, Castillo, and then I might have had Wu there.
But either way, 4th or 5th
Right.
between him and Bryce Miller. He is your anchor. I mean, that like I said,
He's awesome.
from an optimism standpoint, and he's a bulldog. He just goes out there, and he's got just a stare and an attitude, and he's not afraid to just turn look at the defense and turn around and go,
Right.
do something.
The issue with him is like as awesome as it is that he goes 6, like he never goes 8.
No, it's true.
You're gonna
True,
get get 6 great
but
innings.
you go to Brash and Vargas and you get to the 9th with
You
a
should-
3-run lead.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you all of the things that you did, and apparently there's nobody that can pitch in the 10th. We've seen that the last couple days.
Yes.
But
Yep.
if you can finish the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, and you can get to your closer who has not allowed more than a single hit, has not allowed an extra base hit for him to give up 3 runs with 2 outs. And I don't know who this guy is, Correas or whoever it was for the Twins. 2 home runs on the season, has 2 home runs last night.
Of course. This will be the game. Like last year, remember, it was the Royals game where they blew it and they lost by 1.
Did
and
you
then
and
they
I
missed out
talk
on the
about
playoffs.
that?
Yes, we did. This will be the game.
Yeah.
They will miss the
Got
playoffs by 1 game.
For anybody that
And this
missed
will
this
be the
story, I got my brother tickets to the Mariners at the Royals. He's going to Kansas City. We have an Odyssey station out there. He goes, hey, see if you can do anything. I send an email. I meet some people. I get there. He sends me a photo in the first inning of him holding the beer with Kauffman Field in the background. Then he sends me the score update, 7-0 in the first, feeling just like big dog down in Kansas City. Mariners came in, took care of business. They end up losing that game. After the season, he sends me the article that they wrote. If there's one game that you point to why the Mariners missed the playoff, because they missed the playoff by exactly 1 game, it was that game. It's terrible. It's terrible. Fan text line coming through. The Girl Ducks won an extra.
They did.
So there's something. That's softball. It's not baseball.
Have you seen the pitch?
Not saying it's different. I have not watched. I have started to watch the highlights, and I did not. But I will.
You need to look at the. You need to look at the pitch, and it'll take just a quick. Honestly, I think if you Googled Oregon softball pitch,
We'll do that. We'll do that.
you'll see it, and we got to talk about it.
We will talk about the pitch after this SportsCenter update.
Luke,
Yo, Will.
do you know what today is?
Today is the 31st of May. It is my niece Tara's 13th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Welcome to teenagerdom.
Yes, I know. Scary stuff. It is Mariners Twins, which is an annual tradition for the family. It is.
It's Game 6 of the Eastern Conference.
I don't think that's true. That can't be right.
It is.
It is in Indiana. It's gonna be good.
It is. It is. Well,
But you asked what day it is, not what's today.
I identify days by the sporting event that is occurring at that date. And you got Pacers, you got Knicks. Pacers favored by now 4.5. Yesterday they were at 3.5, so they've gained a total of a point. That's a big deal. Obviously, Knicks have to win to force a Game 7. Pacers win. And you got Pacers Thunder for the NBA Finals starting on Thursday. Do you have a lean?
Yeah, I'm leaning Knicks. I want to see what Spike Lee wears in Game 7.
You
Come on, let's go.
Dude, it's not Spike Lee anymore.
Dude, that
It's
suit.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, Chalamet was not wearing the suit that Spike Lee was. Did you see that?
Him and Walt Frazier just...
It's so good.
It's like, what is happening? But I'm telling you, TC's the new guy. If you can get a Kardashian, multiple Kardashians.
Wait, he's had multiple Kardashians? He's moving through them?
Well, they both go to the games with him. Kylie's the one that
Yeah.
If you can get Kylie
But if
and
you can get
Kendall
one,
out.
that's like getting your girlfriend's sister to go somewhere with you. It's like, man, whatever.
Yeah, but they want to be there. He's the
Of
star.
course they do.
TC's the star. He's the man.
Yeah,
Right.
I won't disagree with that. He's
High
not
approval rating.
He's half my age, and he's absolutely crushing it at everything that he does.
Yeah.
So there's part of me that just goes, but you can't deny it. Kid's talented.
No.
He's living the life.
Most of the time when you're that pretty, other dudes don't like you. But for whatever reason, him and Leonardo DiCaprio, they seem to get away with it.
Yeah.
More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can
Northwest schools dropping like flies, but We did get a win yesterday with the Lady Ducks playing some softball. And I'm now just watching the pitch. Not the craziest thing I've ever seen,
It's pretty crazy,
but
dude.
certainly one of them. From a pitching standpoint, nothing will ever eclipse Randy Johnson smoking that dove.
It's now his logo.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh, I gotta
because
pull
he's a
this now.
photographer.
Oh, yes.
It's like
I know that he's a
dead
photographer.
bird photography or whatever.
Get out of here.
I swear, dude.
That's awesome.
Which that's such
that
a
guy
smart
with-
move by him. Lean into it. That's great. Like, yeah, I murder pigeons with baseballs.
Yes. Wow, it's all white, so that makes it a dove, which is basically the same bird.
It might make it worse.
No, I know, but it makes it cooler on video.
True,
I
because
mean,
you see the
whole
feathers.
thing. Oh, just a dead bird. Yeah,
It's a dead bird,
Pretty
dude.
good. He needs
It's a
laces
dead
around it.
bird.
No, that's great. Randy Johnson photography. I love it. So if anybody did not see the pitch from the Oregon game yesterday, the pitch looks like any other. Strike goes right down the middle, but the catcher turns around in immediate pain because something went into her eye. And luckily, it's the era of HD cameras, because in standard definition, like we had in 2001 when Randy Johnson was killing birds, you would not have seen that a clod of dirt must have come out of the pitcher's cleat, flying with the ball until the ball strikes it, breaks it into a bunch of pieces that go like dirt shrapnel into the catcher's eyes.
She's lucky to be alive.
We could have lost a perfectly good
We could-
softball catcher.
She could have lost an eye.
I mean, she's clearly in pain, but I just imagine the shock of that. But yeah, you can watch, and it's just this little clod of dirt just kind of hovering right alongside the ball in slow-mo, and then it just explodes it. But it makes it far enough towards the plate
Right?
that it's close enough to impact the pitcher. It's absolutely wild. So
I'll tell you what, it took me like 5, maybe 6 views of it before I was like, oh, that's what happened.
I got
Because-
what happened right away.
Well, because you could
but I don't
see
know.
it.
I was trying to figure out where the dirt came from.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, unless there are fans in the stands, which would be funny if they were throwing dirt onto the field,
Yeah, just like little dirt.
you should never throw anything at athletes while they're on the field.
Oh yeah, no.
However, if you were trying to throw dirt balls at a baseball or softball to get it to explode and hit someone, that is objectively hilarious.
One of the greatest throwing things on the field moments that I've ever been associated with. Didn't really have anything to do with the generating of it, but we were at a Cardinals game, an Arizona Cardinals game. And I can't remember if they were playing the 49ers or the Seahawks, but when my wife and I lived in Las Vegas, we used to go down there. She's a Niners fan. I'm a Seahawks fan. And we would go down and watch games there because the stadium was brand new. It was beautiful. And we were sitting, I think it was a Seahawks game. We were sitting way back, 300 section. And we're probably, I don't know, 20 rows from the back wall.
Yeah.
And they have all these programs, that they hand out when everybody gets them. And they were just kind of like a single sheet. Right? So it's got a single fold, you open it up.
Mhm.
Few people start making paper airplanes out of them in the back.
That rocks.
This guy's standing along the back wall. He's back and left of us, but we can turn over our shoulder and see him. And he throws this paper airplane. And we can see where it came from. And the guy's standing up like, yeah. And it does this motion where it goes and then it drops like almost like it's going to go straight down into like the top of a fan's head.
Yep.
But as it drops and picks up speed, it gets enough air under its wings where it kind of levels out and swoops back up. Then it catches air and sails, and then it does it again. And it does this twice over the 300 section. And everybody that sees it fly over the head starts cheering. They're like, whoa! And then it drops right off the 300 section. Goes down towards the 200 section. Then we see it come back up again. And it does the whole thing all the way down to the 50-yard line.
That rocks.
An entire wedge of fans are screaming, yeah! And it just goes and comes to like a perfect, complete stop. at the 50-yard line of it was Cardinal Stadium at the time.
Mhm.
Now I was at University of Phoenix still.
Sure.
So comes to a dead stop at the 50-yard line. A 16th of the crowd is ecstatic about it. Nobody knows what's going on. And then one of the ball boys just runs out and grabs his paper airplane. And it was such a nothing burger for everybody else in the stadium, but for this one little section, we had this great.
Well, it's
moment.
because you're in on the joke.
Oh, totally.
It's
Well,
why
of course it is.
inside jokes are so
It's-
great.
yeah.
I'd love to be a part of one day. It's. I've always wanted to use that line, and I finally
Good
get
job.
to do it,
Good- well
and
done.
I'm really proud of it. And I've
Perfect
totally
timing.
ruined it now by explaining
Yeah,
it.
no,
but that's
No,
okay.
I love explaining.
Love
jokes.
The
Oh,
Office.
yeah. I get criticized by swag. Danny Meringue has a camouflage lunchbox.
How'd you see it?
Thank you. Such an obvious joke. He left it on the table out here, and I go, "Oh, did you get a Danny Meringue lunchbox to swag?"
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Oh, no." He goes, "I don't know what that is." And I go, "Well, Danny probably just didn't see it when he left." He goes, "You're a comedian. You were a professional comedian. You have to do better." I'm like, "You have to hit the obvious ones."
That was a hanging curveball.
Yeah. What
and
about
you pumped it 400.
Absolutely. What
Like,
about you
that's a
not
great
hit
joke.
it? Like, you got to sprinkle those in. You can't miss the easy
No,
ones.
you can't. It's like when
Yeah.
you're walking
You-
through, you're walking through a restaurant, the mall, a bar, whatever, and a guy is wearing a Kobe Bryant jersey and be like, Kobe's alive.
I don't know. I don't know if you have to do that one. 'Cause
Oh,
you-
I have to. Every time.
he lives.
I have not
gone.
gone up to someone yet and like introduced myself and been like, Michael, I'm such a big fan. But every time I see someone wearing a LeBron, Kobe, Michael, I don't care. If
Yeah.
it's a jersey and we're not at a sporting event,
Oh,
I'll
Yeah.
smack a buddy and be like, dude,
he lives.
Jalen Hurts is here. A lot smaller than I thought.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe he squats 700 pounds?
Yeah. It was pretty good for a 5'5" guy.
Yeah, look at his legs. I thought they'd be bigger. The important part of the thing, the Dirt Clod game, as it will now and forever be known. This was in a 5-5 ball game that they in the top of the ninth, and they end up winning in extras. So that is what's important. So we did get a win locally on the softball side of
We
things.
did.
And as a girls softball champion, I root for them. So let's go.
Go
Let's
Ducks.
go. Or should I say, Sko Ducks?
Sko Ducks.
Sko Ducks.
Do we have to say Sko Lady Ducks?
I don't think they actually are the Lady Ducks. I think they've
I-
dropped the lady moniker from a lot of female sports.
I really
think they're
hope
just
they
ducks.
did.
Yeah, I think that's.
I
it.
hope they did.
Yeah,
We didn't need you to name the ladies to know that.
yeah.
were
That it's
ladies.
the women's team. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's a thing of the past. I think they've gone the way of the fangirl.
But the fanboys,
Fanboys.
they may write again.
Speaking of things that we need to move on to and move forward to get to is Good versus Evil. It's next on The Sinner and the Saint. This is 1080 The Fan.
And the Saints shred the gnar while you just sit back and ride the wave. It's time for Good versus Evil, brought to you by the Titan of Hawaiian Restaurants, 808 on 1080 The Fan.
Yeah, rough night for me. I got to be better setting the tone, getting downhill. I feel like I didn't do a great job of that. But I'll watch the film. There were some different things they did defensively. But for the most part, I think their base stuff was the same.
That was Tyrese Halliburton talking about his struggles in Game 5 against the Knicks. Tonight, you've got Game 6 of that series, Pacers-Knicks. Pacers win. They're going to go take on the Thunder in the NBA Finals. Knicks win. You're going to get a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden on Monday, I believe.
Yep.
Luke, are we getting a game on Monday?
Listen, I don't know what the energy is going to be, but I think the Knicks figured out a little something in the last game. Their stars have been playing well from a scoring standpoint. Cat and Jalen Brunson have both been putting up 20-point games in every game of the series, and I can't remember what the historical context was, but that does not happen.
Right.
So if they can go and let their leaders play, I feel like Jalen Brunson's never afraid of the moment. We talked about this a little bit yesterday with Danny.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like they got thrown out of sorts by the way they collapsed in Game 1. I think that's a hard thing to recover, and I believe that there is momentum in series. It's going to be tough to go to Indiana, but if they can get back to their home crowd, I think that'll be one of the better moments that we've seen in the NBA in quite a while. So Knicks, Madison Square Garden, Game 7. I am rooting for it, so I'm trying to talk myself into them winning tonight.
I just think with the Pacers, they're so deep.
Yeah.
And like you look at the Thunder,
but they're also a 4 seed. I mean, they're
True.
They beat a team that did not have a lot of playoff experience in the Cavaliers, that were a little over their skis after just whooping the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
So they came into the
a lot of injuries.
They did, and absolutely playing without guys.
Yep.
And you have a team in the Pacers that have been there. They've got some playoff experience.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a healthy Knicks team, at some point you think Thibodeau is going to have a team get through. But who knows?
Right.
He certainly got them close. So I'm pulling for the Knicks, but selfishly I just want a Game 7.
That's fair.
And I think the Thunder roll.
I think the Thunder roll regardless as well.
It feels very surreal. I know that's like a pretty typical word that people say, but that is what I'm feeling. Like I haven't really been able to wrap my head around it. I think just from this being my third year, it kind of happened pretty fast. So I'm trying to put all of it into perspective. My brother got into the NBA this year, and his first year is already done. So there's a lot of other things that go on that make me think how fast and how blessed I am to get to the point that I'm at now and who I'm getting to the finals with. So that went more into my mind just about how lucky I am and how special this moment is.
That's the Oklahoma City Thunder's probably second best player on the team, possibly third, Jalen Williams, after they won Game 5 against the Wolves, absolutely embarrassed them at home. They're now waiting for the winner of the Eastern Conference. Luke, there's been some discourse going on that I find very interesting. Is it possible that this is the worst Thunder team over the next 10 years?
I see where you're going on. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's a lot more to come. I see what you're saying. Jalen Williams, second best player on the team. I put him ahead of Chet. SGA, obviously, number one. With the assets that they have, they should be able to keep the role players coming in. The signings like Hartenstein and Alex Caruso that have been instrumental in this. Now it's not really about finding those gems in the draft like they were doing before. It's about keeping the cupboard stocked. The other thing is the way that they play, getting out and running is going to evolve. They'll get better in the half court. They'll get better in other aspects of the game depending on who they have around. If you're a free agent, man, and you want to go win a championship, we've seen it before with guys of Kevin Durant's caliber. Right. Getting guys to go and play with Golden State was never a challenge during their run. I think a lot of people are going to want to play with SGA, going to want to play with Jalen Williams, going to want to play with Chet. So it's going to look a little bit different, but if they can keep their little nucleus together, yeah, I have a hard time seeing them win this championship and not be favored for the next 4 or 5 years.
Right. Well, and the other crazy thing is they could use all that to go and make a big splash if they wanted to.
Well, yeah, I
Like-
mean, if you wanted to go and get a guy like Giannis, and
They're not like really out of that because most of their picks aren't their picks.
100%. That's what I'm
bad
saying. Is
teams,
they don't
right.
need to worry about waiting for those to mature. They can go
Right.
out right now and get impact players. I don't know if you go out and try to get another superstar, but just keeping like your
Yep.
depth. Getting
Bodies.
guys that can go out and want to play defense first. Alex Caruso is one of those guys. He doesn't care if he scores a bucket, but if he can go out and pester people, it makes a huge impact.
I forgot. They also last year were able to get Nikola Topic.
Yeah.
If you remember who he was the best player in all of Europe. Tore his ACL the month before the draft, so everyone knew he would not be able to play this year. He went from a potential top 5 pick to falling to them in 12th. If you had to guess right now, and then we'll get into my favorite story, I have it pulled up. Who is the second highest paid Thunder player? Number 1 is SGA, taking that away.
Hartenstein.
Hartenstein.
Yeah.
How much is he making this year?
15 million?
30.
Oh, 30. That's a lot
It
more than
goes
I thought.
SGA, Hartenstein's at 30, Lou
And they've-
Dort is at 16 and a half.
Okay.
And his does go up, and then Isaiah Joe, and then Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. And Hartenstein is there for what, 3 years?
He's got 3. All of their guys are locked up for 3, except 3+, except for Holmgren and Williams.
Yeah,
everyone
they'll
else
get, and they'll
is-
get extensions. So trying to figure out how to pay everybody, it could be one of those challenges. But I mean, I don't know how many picks they still have left, but
It's a lot.
they still have like 15 first-round picks in the next 6 years or something like that. So it's pretty staggering. So they've built things the right way, and I mean, to me, this is a little ahead of schedule. I didn't expect them to do this, but the West did not live up to the hype around them. So I mean, the Warriors and the Lakers. I think everybody that hoped the guys with championship pedigree were going to step up, but if they couldn't do it this year, what makes you think they're going to do it next year?
Right. Agreed. Let's get into my favorite story. I am ashamed that this is my favorite story.
It's okay.
And I'm
be
going to
ashamed.
tell you right now that it's not my favorite story, at least hopefully for why you think. Hopefully you don't think this is why it's my favorite story.
Let's hear the story.
Sydney Sweeney's fans want her bathwater, and now they can buy it. Yes, Sydney Sweeney, known for her roles in Anyone But You and Euphoria, has now partnered with Dr. Sasquatch. She's been working with them for a little bit.
Okay.
And they are now selling a product called Sydney's Bathwater Bliss. And in it, it is a new soap that does contain some of her real wet bathwater. I hate that this is a real thing.
Yes, we talked about this yesterday.
We did.
You have friends that genuinely need to get their hands on this.
It was brought to my attention by friends of mine, yes.
Yeah.
And they were like genuinely excited about it.
Yeah.
And that does worry me because I am not.
Yeah, no, I would hope not.
I am not. I will not be buying bars of soap, let alone Sydney Sweeney's.
This is you won't be buying bars of soap?
I'm a body wash guy.
Oh, are you? Yeah.
Soap's for the birds.
Is it?
Oh, I'm just saying, like
I don't think birds use soap.
I feel like we've evolved past the bar soap. Just give me the body wash, a little like squirt, and then
Rub
yourself down. Yeah,
rub down. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm still a bar soap guy. Use the Dove men's exfoliating.
Ooh,
It's very nice.
there you go.
But just the whole idea of like getting in contact with their bathwater, that's appealing is one thing. It's another thing that it's marketable. Like because
It's
there
gonna
has been,
sell out. It's
of course.
100% gonna sell out.
Yeah, but I guess that's the culture that we live in, that this can be a thing. Like this is a culmination of other actions that have taken place across the internet, connecting celebrities with the real world or whomever, selling their jars of farts or whatever it is.
And those sold out too.
This is the whole
Gross.
thing. Yes.
Gross.
And stupid.
Yeah. It's funny when you like look at it on like a tweet.
Yeah.
It's not funny when you actually buy it. Do you want to know? Do you want like if you want some,
What does it cost?
$8?
No, that's all.
I was gonna say when
pretty
I
nice
saw
entry
that
point,
too, there's part of me that was like, I think you can up that price,
Yeah.
Sid.
Aren't you? You got to be better than that, sweetie. Yeah.
Like Sid, you're probably what, top 5 right now? Like if we're building out our all NBA, all HOTS team, I think you're making the first team.
You can do better than an $8 bar of soap.
That's got to be at least 15.
Somebody's priced it out though. It's priced to move.
I bet you that it goes on sale officially June 6th.
How do you verify that?
The bathwater, or when it goes on sale? Because I'm looking at a tweet right now. That's how I verified it.
No. The
Bath water?
contents of the soap.
Do you think someone does?
I spent $8 on this. It better have.
Well, and also like, how do we classify this? Is this like she just like drops the water on herself and then they somehow make it into the bar of soap, or is this like all right? So Sydney, she spent 30 minutes in, and now it goes into the soap, and
Yeah. And can you tell that the soap has like essence of person in it? And
that's so gross.
Can you verify that? Like, what if you bought the soap and somebody does a test on it and they're like, it turns out it was Will Order's bathwater. Oh no! Ah!
You're gonna see a tweet where someone goes like, "For the first time, I'm excited. There's hair in a product I bought. I knew it was hers." Gross. Gross.
They're guaranteed to have one short and curly.
I was meaning her head hair. Gross.
Yeah, well, listen, don't worry about head hair on a bar of soap, do you? That's why you don't use bar soap.
I don't use bar soap.
And it's not for hair from your head.
Body, I'll tell you right now, there's no hair on my soap in my shower.
Yeah, there you go.
Body wash.
Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your good versus evil. It is brought to you by 808 Hawaiian Restaurant. Hey, if you're watching Game 6 tonight, you should probably do it with some Hawaiian food. You can order it right online, so it will be ready for pickup when you show up. Go to ate-oh-ate.com. You can pick up in Beaverton, Burnside, or Woodstock. Eat their food. It's delicious. My favorite story I will use to start hour 2. We do it next. Sinner and Saint, 1080 The Fan.
It's Jeff
Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, you got a bunch of baseball action today, but we're going to talk about the main important games at 4:15. You got the Mariners looking to get a win after absolutely blowing their game 1 against the Twins on Friday. They lost that one 12-6. They were up 6-3 with 2 outs in the ninth. Mariners looking to get a win, even up the series, and have a shot at winning the series on Sunday. Also at 4:15, you got the Yankees traveling to LA to take on the Dodgers. Dodgers got the game 1 win. Yankees trying to avenge that. Right now, both teams have 35 wins on the year. Dodgers have an extra loss. Right now, on the money line, the Yankees are favored. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Jump back to earlier parts.
If you missed anything from hour 1, shame on you. Please try to be better. But don't worry, podcast available at 1080thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app. Also, podcast comes free with every bar of Sydney Sweeney soap you buy.
Must be 18 or older.
Is that true?
That's what, again, did I Google a New York Times article and read the first 2 paragraphs? Yes, I did.
Good job.
But there was a picture underneath that second paragraph. Gave all the details. Because I think you can win some as well. They're only selling like a couple thousand.
Oh, there you go. All right.
So you better jump on that collector's item.
Well, that was Will Ortner's favorite story. My favorite story, I got the photo right here, but I'll show it to you through the glass if you want to take a look at that. My regular co-host, Mr. Will Darkins, will not be here for the next month. He and his wife have welcomed Emma Suzanne Darkins to the world. She is happy and healthy. He is exhausted, so he's going to be out for the next 4 or 5 weeks helping take care of his brand new daughter. So congratulations to Mr. Will Darkins.
That's fantastic. Good for him.
It is good for him, good for them. The little sister for Finn, and now he's part of the Girl Dad Club. Woo!
The exclusive.
I don't think it's
the
exclusive.
crowd.
No, I don't think it's exclusive.
Well, no, it is. If you do not have a girl,
yeah,
and are not a father,
yeah, and
you cannot join the club.
And not all girls really have dads. I guess most do.
Yeah, I feel.
You know what I mean?
I feel
like you have to embrace it. Like you can't listen.
Yeah.
Yep. You have to be all in to be a girl dad.
Yes, you do. Because
Jeff Rust, girl dad.
Yes.
I'm proud girl dad. Sprague, proud girl dad.
Yes.
Sook.
Yes. Very. Yep.
So, but
all very proud.
But you can't just be like, I wish you were a boy. Like there's,
right.
You know what I mean?
There's a clear difference. Well, and then there's dads like the great Tom Ortner.
Yeah.
Not
boys.
a girl dad.
No, not at all.
All boys.
Yeah.
However, the great Dave Ortner, great girl dad.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, my dad, 4 boys, then a girl.
Oh.
And she was definitely treated differently than the boys. So it was there was a clear separation. Oh yeah,
girl
dad. So yeah, it's no easy task, but welcome to the club, Mr. Darkins. Very happy for you. We'll see you in, I don't know, a month or so. I am looking at the website for the LSU for LSU Shreveport Pilots website for their baseball team. You brought this to my attention. 59-0 in their they're on a 59-game win streak. They went 33-0 at home, 14 in a row away, and 12 neutral in their last however many games. This season, they went 59-0 and had a perfect record, won the national championship for NAIA. Some of these numbers are just ridiculous. Team batting average is 361, on base percentage 493, slugging percentage 601.
Dude, it's unbelievable how
Their
good this
team
is.
ERA was 238. They had 14 shutouts. Teams hit 192 against them.
Sounds like they played the Mariners all year.
Oh, easy.
Hey-o.
Mariners are a second place team. You watch your mouth. But I've isolated the stat. How does a team get this good?
I would assume in that region, it's a very baseball fertile ground.
Well, sure. LSU's got a great team, and there's
It's
plenty
you're
of,
down south.
Yep, absolutely.
So my assumption, just knowing how D2 football works, I would assume very similar to NAIA sports. You probably went and got a lot of bounce backs. This is not a team of dudes who
Straight out of
more
high
than
school.
likely
Yeah.
committed to LSU Shreveport.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when you see teams go on runs like this, they went out and they either recruit a bunch of kids who went to LSU and then realized, hey, probably not going to play, but I can go play for LSU Shreveport and I'm close to home. Mom and dad can still get to every game. My girlfriend, my girlfriend can come, the boys can come, whatever. Or look, sometimes you get into some trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then
There's
you
all
end
bad
up.
things. Well, here's how they did it. You know how many runs they scored this year?
Let's go with 400.
600
Oh my gosh.
and 66. They made a deal with the devil.
Satan.
It's right there. It's right there. It's
Satan.
right there in the numbers.
What you didn't
So,
realize is that
The devil did not go down to Georgia.
Is a Lucifer.
The devil went down to Shreveport.
Hey, I will tell you this because we played a D2 powerhouse named Ferris State. If
Okay.
you know anything about D2 football over the last 3-4 years, I believe it's 2 titles in the last 5.
Okay.
And they've been to a couple others. They're
Sure.
always in it. They were notorious for this. They would go out and they have a recruiting class. They're usually had 10 to 15 dudes in a recruiting class that were high school kids. But the rest of that recruiting class, because you usually have about 30 kids you bring in, they were D1 bounce backs.
Oh, yeah.
When we played them, they had a starting quarterback that had been at Michigan State, got into some trouble,
Yep.
and then he ended up over there. They had a couple offensive linemen that had been at other places, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they transferred to this
Guns and
spot.
trouble.
Right. They grabbed a couple dudes who were playing, like, the next year when they won the title, they had the D2 Player of the Year, lacrosse kid. He was the number 1 lacrosse player at Maryland. And then COVID year happens. They go, hey, your lacrosse eligibility is done.
Yep.
But do you want to come play football for us?
For sure.
And so they did that. So when it comes to a lot of these D2 NAIA schools where they go on big runs like this, where they're always in the mix,
Oh, yeah.
they win a lot of games, just understand that it's not always the plucky underdogs. It's
Oh.
not the Central Washingtons of the world where you grab a kid and it's like, hey, we're really excited because he grew 2 inches over the summer. No, they went and they grabbed a couple kids who had higher aspirations and then for whatever reason on their path led them to where they were at.
Well, sure, but also the plucky underdog story. They're playing against NAIA talent too. So, I mean, what would be really interesting is if you take that team and have them play against one of these better teams. That's the one thing about college football or college sports in general is
They could win.
Is football you don't necessarily the crossover isn't going to be fair.
No, it's rare to win those games. Like,
But the bottom and the top of the
Yes.
leagues, you absolutely could. But putting the D2 champion against the D1 champion or the FCS champion,
yeah, it's a murder.
is going to be absolute. But if you played against the last place team, this is where I just want some relegation. Let's go. Come on. If you want to go and put in all this effort and be great, let's bump you up a league next year. Let's put some incentives in here. There's enough money in college sports that we can figure all this out. That's your solution for college sports. Isn't it?
I think it would be the best way to go about it. I mean, especially with all the movement that you're seeing now from, like Sacramento State's already gotten the money. They're going to go up.
Yeah.
It sounds like UC Davis is going to go up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, like if you're over in the Pacific Northwest, I don't know that a lot of teams on the East Coast are going to do it, but because everybody is so spread out on the West Coast when it comes to, those smaller school sports, they all move together, right?
Yeah.
Like you were asking in the break about Linfield and what's the difference between like a Linfield and a LSU Shreveport and a Southern Oregon and a Central Washington. And it's just the leagues. Like when it comes to D2 sports, there aren't a ton of D2 teams in the area, especially for like football. And so you like hodgepodge it together. Well, don't be shocked if you see a team like that either go up to D1 FCS, so Big Sky, where your travel's a lot shorter, even though you're taking that step up and there's more amenities that you have to provide, more scholarships you have to provide. It might be cheaper in the long run to do that because of travel costs, hotel costs, and all those things. Or you see what a lot of like the Linfields, the Pacific Lutheran, Seattle Pacifics, Puget Sounds, not Seattle Pacifics. What they did, where they were all NAIA, and they said, we're all going to move to D3, but we're all going to move together. And if we do that, our travel still stays down, and we get the benefits of being an NCAA program.
Yeah. Well, there's also the the irony of the smallest schools do the most travel.
It's unbelievable.
8-man football in high school. They're usually 8-man football because they're in remote places and cannot field a team big enough to play 11-man. So what that means is they have to go across the state to the middle of nowhere where there's another group of people that cannot get a team together that's big enough to do that. So wherever 8-man football is being played, that's a funny thing too, where it's like, you can play all within the same town in Vancouver and you never have to play a road game further than Kelso. Yet if you go outside into the sticks, there's a lot more travel. So
it's planes, trains, and automobiles.
Always one of the funny ironies about sports. Hey, speaking of, I want to get your full take on this. You asked me, but I didn't really get your take on it. I know that you're picking the Pacers, but I didn't know why. So we'll talk about the Eastern Conference Championship Game 6 that's going on tonight. And we'll talk a little bit more about the NBA as we go further into hour 2. We do that next on 1080 The Fan.
So, The Fan.
Like the flick of a switch.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 6 between Knicks and Pacers in Indiana tonight. You'll be bouncing around, partying with your boys.
I will.
Got fun days out in Hawkinson.
I will tape the game.
You're going to tape it. You're going to put in the VHS.
Well, let's be honest. Mom and Dad will tape the game, or Grandpa will tape the game, and I will enjoy it with them on Sunday.
You don't have DVR? What do you mean you're taping the game? Get lost.
I don't.
You don't
Dude, I don't
actually
have any
tape.
of that.
You do
we're
really
lucky-
not?
No, dude. I don't have cable. I have apps.
Well, sure. But you don't have an app that can record the game for you?
Can you record the game on Max?
You can on Fubo. Oh, is it on Max? It's on TNT.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Max.
you're right.
So if it's on, like,
Yeah,
I
you're
know
right.
that if the game is going, I can go back. Like,
Yeah.
so let's say I'm coaching football, right?
Yeah.
I missed the first half because I'm out at
Yeah,
practice.
you can go and bounce back.
I
But
can
yeah,
go
but once
back
it's
and
over-
rewatch it, which is what I like to do. And then I
Yeah.
can fast forward through the commercials. But if it's already over, I do not know if I can go back through and watch.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I do not know. I do not know the answer to that. All right. Well, want to get your thoughts on it. What do the Pacers need to do differently than what they did in Game 6? Is it just simply play better?
I think it's just better defense. Like, when you look at their 3 wins, they are getting fast break transition buckets, and that's because they're getting steals. Now, don't get me wrong. When they force misses, they're outletting the ball quickly once they get that rebound on their side. You always see at least one person from the Pacers kind of leak out.
Yeah.
Halliburton isn't afraid to just push the ball because he knows he can make throws that other people can't. I mean, I think it was a
especially
game.
Pascal Siakam is like the
He's going to sneak out every time.
He's the quickest guy to
He's
leak out.
awesome. Well, and he's big and he's strong. But with Halliburton, I want to say in Game 4, he threw for like 417 yards in all of his assist passes.
Yeah.
Like that's like he can dot it up.
Yep.
And so you look at what the Pacers want to do, and they want to push tempo, they want to push pace, and it worked so well games 1 through 4 because Tibbs was doing what Tibbs does typically, and that's play 6 guys.
Yeah.
And by the end of the game, dudes were exhausted. Like you could see Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson, Cat, and especially now that Cat gets in foul trouble in every game. Even Jalen Brunson.
Well, that's what he
looked
did with Minnesota.
exhausted.
That's what he's always done. It's not now. He's always
It's
always had dumb fouls. There's few guys in the league that can get 3 fouls quicker than Big Cat.
and it's all because he had a bad play, so he fouls. It's
Yeah, he
the-
does. Yeah.
it's
And most of the
most-
time it's out of frustration. He'll foul
Yes.
because they called a bad foul in his mind.
It's like when you're watching 5th grade
Oh, yeah.
basketball and you see the kid that just smokes the layup underneath the basket and he gets this look on his face. You're like, yeah, he's going to go foul. And Cat never grew out of that.
No.
It's brutal to watch if you're a Knicks fan. But when I look at this Pacers team, and this is why I picked them to win the series, it's why I think they're going to win tonight. They're going to be able to feed off the home crowd, but they play so fast. And what the Knicks have survived on in the last, couple games where they've had victories in games 3 and in game 5 is either big performances from Cat and Brunson.
Yep.
But it's really been their bench because Cat's been in foul trouble, Brunson's been in foul trouble, and
But they're
so
still getting 20 every night, both guys.
right. But what they're relying on is Landry Shamet and the rest of that ragtag crew because Tibbs is forced to use them. They're in foul trouble, right? And so because he has to use them, now the guys are getting the rest that they needed. It's not because Josh Hart went to the bench for Mitchell Robinson. They're still playing the same amount of minutes. They're just playing them in a different order. And I think the Pacers know that they can't go back to MSG for a game 7.
I would.
That's where it
100%
gets
agree with that.
really weird. And I
Yeah.
think if the Knicks do force a game 7, I probably flip my pick. I think the Knicks win game 7. I don't know that they win game 6, and I don't think they win game 6.
Okay.
Pacers have to take care of business here. And Halliburton has to play better.
Yeah.
He had an
Yeah.
amazing game 4. Game 5.
All time. He had an all-time game 4. I mean, come on. Dude, what
Right.
puts up a triple-double with 30 points and no turnovers?
It was unbelievable.
Get
and
lost, dude.
He's right back to the doghouse, though, because he barely gets 10 points.
Yeah. Did he get 10 points?
I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Like, your
Yeah.
leading scorer was Benedict Mathurin. That can't happen.
Yeah.
The other one too.
But the reality is that he's somewhere in between, right? I mean, and that's the thing is they've relied on performances that have been so ridiculous. What Naismith did going down the end of game 1, what Halliburton did in game 4, those are such outlier performances that's why I kind of believe that the Knicks can do it. They have been unafraid of the moment most of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But in that game 1, I just really genuinely think it just took something out of them. And I know that these are, just kind of feelings. And when you start rooting for a team, I will be rooting for whoever wins the Eastern Conference. I don't expect them to win, but that's one of the things that I love about sports is you can sit there and go, and I would go, I'm going to take the underdog and ride with them. I'm not going to put any money on them, but I'm going to sit there and root for them all the way through because exactly what you said earlier. If the Thunder win, it could be a while that they stay on top of this league, or it could go exactly the opposite way. They may be the youngest team since
Blazers.
And what happened with the Blazers?
Bill Walton broke his foot, and that was
That
it.
was it. So, I mean, you look at it from the other side of things and go, hey, they might get one here, and they just might not ever figure it out again.
Right. I think the one
You lose a guy, and you go the other way. I mean, I know they're not being led by a big guy, but, man, funny things happen, and the ball bounces a weird way. And, just you lose Chet Holmgren.
Right.
You can't afford to sign, you choose
make a
to
bad
sign the wrong
trade.
guy. Exactly.
You make a bad trade. Someone gets hurt in a bad moment. Like the one that's always going to stick out to me, and I think it's just because it's a local angle, but Seattle winning that first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was doing the LeBron James. Not 1, not 2, not 3.
So
look at what they're going to do. And then you look at the contracts and
But
Michael
they should have.
Bennett-
But they should have won 2.
They should have won 2.
They should have
but-
absolutely
but
won
they
2.
Didn't. But they didn't because
Well,
being a
exactly.
dynasty is incredibly difficult. And it's not the star players necessarily.
Yep.
It's the role players. Look at Denver right now. Your big star player is better than he's ever been before.
Yep.
And you've only got 1 title. And correct me if I'm wrong, you've only been to 1 title. You've only been to 1 NBA Finals. And it's not because of Jokic, because he's been healthy the whole time.
Yep.
It's everyone around him. Look at Milwaukee.
Giannis has
Giannis
two
is
two
great.
two MVPs.
Great.
What he did in that finals too in 2020,
50 and a closer?
dude, just
Come on.
absolutely ridiculous. The guy is a monster, but you ship out defense for offense at the point guard position. You never get the right chemistry. I mean, they get Dame over there. Terry Stotts quits.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the guy's name, gets fired right away. So they
After having the NBA's best record.
Yes, but he's a monster. Nobody wants him there. And now you have Giannis, 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, I mean, that thing's essentially blown up, and it was 4 years ago,
You know what I want to say, though?
that they were winning.
You know what I really want to see? I want to see him just team up with Jokic. Let's just do that.
That would be fun.
That would be
all the
most-
Europeans unite. Like Luka waits till this contract's over, and he's like, "We're all."
No,
going
I don't
to
even want that.
Denver."
I just want to see Giannis and Jokic play together. I think that would be the most absurd game planning to try to figure out how to match up with those two guys.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know
The way that
they-
Giannis runs and Jokic passes and
Yeah.
can hit shots from anywhere on the court
Yeah.
and make passes from any angle. Oh, just
and
sign me up.
Giannis would be your defense because Jokic. That if he
Jokic
has
can
one,
play some defense, but the problem is that his
He's
usage
average.
rate. Yeah, but his usage rate is so high, and where he plays on offense is so different than where he plays on defense because you need him to be a rim protector. But if you can get somebody in there to do that for him,
Yeah.
and he could just play kind of that center field defense because individual ratings on defense in the NBA always drive me crazy. The team defense is what matters.
Right. Well,
Because
and-
Steph Curry, everybody goes, oh, he's a defensive liability. They had the best defense in basketball when they were winning championships, and he led the league in steals multiple times.
Right. Well,
But because there was a team around him that played great defense, and you have a defensive player of the year, and you have guys that can lock down their
Play was
positions,
great.
and you can be the offensive engine and go out there and play center field on defense.
The other thing too with that, and maybe this is just because I'm a big Drew Holiday guy, because I've seen him dominate Portland, and then I saw him
Yeah.
dominate with the
He was
Celtics,
with
and I saw him
Portland. He was with
dominate.
Portland for a minute.
I saw him dominate the Bucks. Well, he did when he was with the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Remember that series where they got swept? That's
100%.
Drew Holiday shut down CJ and Dame
At the same time.
And so, as I know that all the defensive player of the year winners are typically the big guys, right? It's Rudy, Anthony Davis, you know, those types of guys. If you can get a lockdown defender on the perimeter, it completely changes your game. It's why the Thunder are so nasty.
Yep.
I mean, as good as Lou Dort is at putting dudes into the torture chamber and just making them work for their plays, the fact that when he comes out, they can go right to Alex Caruso, who doesn't really take a step back.
Nope.
You can make the argument it's a step forward with Caruso defensively.
Well, Caruso is a
why
better
they're where they're
perimeter
at.
defender, yeah.
Right. It's why they're where they're at. You look at the Pacers, they don't have that one true lockdown guy, but between Naismith, between Nembhard, and the other guy with the bad mustache off the bench, they play good defense on the perimeter too. And I wonder if you're going to see teams make a move. Not necessarily, like, you have to have the rim protector. You just do.
Yeah.
But when they try to build that championship roster, can they find that Drew Holiday? Because even on that Boston team, as good as Drew Holiday is, and I have the utmost respect for him, they also had Derek White.
Yeah, but you also have to have the offensive engine, and that's where the Blazers are in a spot.
100%.
So let's talk a little Blazers basketball.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's first go to a SportsCenter update.
Luke, I'm going to cheat here. I've got two of them.
Ooh!
We're talking baseball.
Let's talk some baseball.
At 4:15, you've got two great games. You are going to be in attendance, boots on the ground to one up in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Twins taking on the Mariners. Mariners trying to avenge that blown victory that they had.
And try to get back into first place.
Yes.
Oh, they dropped after the first 2 weeks of the season. They were in last place. They've been in first place since, and they need to get back there. Come on, let's go.
You would like to hope that they go on a run. Let's
just get some pitching.
You had like
consistently.
8 to 9 straight series victories.
You had
and now
9
you're-
straight series victories.
Now you're back.
I was in San Diego. I went to the first 2 games when they swept the Padres, who are a good team, and
Very
you feel
good.
like, all right, we've got something going. But man, they just cannot get everything to work at the same time. First
Right.
blown save last night. They lose by 6 in extras. Back-to-back nights.
Embarrassing.
When have you ever seen a team lose by 6 runs in extra innings?
Only the
and
Mariners.
to do it 2 nights in a row could not be more Mariners.
Only the Mariners.
Fart sound.
But also at the same time, you've got in a World Series rematch, Yankees and Dodgers. Last night, first at bat, Aaron Judge.
First at bat, Shohei Ohtani.
Bomb.
Let's go.
First at bat, Shohei Ohtani. Bomb. This series is great, man.
Yes. I will not disagree with that. I don't think we talked about this on air yesterday. 6 MVPs.
6 MVPs.
In that series. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Goldschmidt, and Bellinger. You've got 6 MVPs, 3 on each side. It's everything that it should be, and I know that Yankees-Dodgers is nothing like Celtics-Lakers, because they haven't met as many times. But you know what? I don't think baseball suffers if we see that World Series matchup a couple more times in the next 10 years. I'm fine with, if you're going to go out and spend that kind of money, get in there. I just want other teams mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being the Mariners would be real nice. But the only team that has not been to a World Series, when you look at the Rockies and they cannot win a dozen games midway through the season, and they've played in a World Series, come on, Mariners. Sorry, that's a little distracting. But
Also-
yes, I'll take more Yankees-Dodgers anytime.
Also, breaking news. That isn't quite breaking news. Mariners are calling up their number 3 prospect, Cole Young. You will get eyes on the 2022 first rounder. AAA, he's been averaging 370 at the plate. First start, second baseman. Here he comes.
Well, here's all.
Catch the
I'm not
fever.
sure how I'm going to do it, but I will influence the outcome of this game.
Can't wait.
In a positive way.
I can't wait to see you bring home a nice Mariners
If I have to go,
victory.
if I have to go streaking to break up a little momentum that the Twins have, don't avert your eyes.
You should dress up
Take
like
it all in.
Thundor.
Dude, some of the way people dress up, football games especially, it's insane.
Have you seen Thundor?
Thundor. No.
Google Thundor.
Thundor.
OKC super fan.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that guy. I didn't know he had a name. Yes.
Thundor, dude. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner from the Georgia McCoy Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan.
So we're just talking about the way that these NBA teams are built that are still playing for the championship. You get a star player, you add these defensive players around them, guys that can affect the game in a lot of different ways. If there's anything to take from last season for the Portland Trail Blazers, it really feels like you have two of those guys.
Agreed. And I think there's a potential, maybe I'm over my skis. One of them could be the third guy. Potentially second.
Yes. Well, you may have three of those guys too, because I don't think I'm giving enough credit to Donovan Clingan. But I think Tumani Kamara is second team all defensive player. It's been decade and a half or more since the Blazers have had anybody on the all-defensive team at any level. But Toumani Camara has become a reliable corner three guy. He can get some offense, but on the defensive end, he takes more charges than anybody in the league. He took more charges than some teams did last year. The way that he can affect the game in multiple ways is awesome. The other one is Turbo. And he could put up points on the offensive end too, but Denny Advia has, at least in my mind, solidified himself as an important piece on a team that can win games. But the real problem is, any stars?
No, you don't have it. And
where do you, so if that's the case, is it just see what you can get for these guys that can really impact a team? Because you could see any one of certainly Advia and Toumani Camara being as valuable as anybody in the trade market from a standpoint of if you've got everything except for some of those glue guys, the Alex Carusos of the world, the Isaiah Hartensteins of the world, where you look at it and go, those were the guys that Indiana was missing that really feels like it's taking this team to the next level.
Right.
Aren't those guys? Isn't that what we have sitting on the shelf right now?
You have at least two of them. And where I paused was the hope, obviously, Shaedon or Scoot becomes the star. Like that was
they kind of have to, right? Like if this incarnation of the Blazers is going to turn into a team that can contend for a championship, they're tallest team in the league, second youngest team in the league last season.
Yep.
So certainly a lot of potential to improve.
And I want to give them the time to do that.
Yep.
But I do worry if we're starting to see, hey, star isn't what those two necessarily have in the cards.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, it's so challenging to really know, too, because you had a 4-year star at Weber State come in and make an immediate impact for the team. There were 0 minutes of college basketball played between either of those guys, and I realized that Scoot went and played, for the Ignite and played in the D League and got to play against guys that are trying to get into the league. I understand that. Shaedon didn't play any college basketball. He was committed to go to Kentucky and then injured and opted out. Weird scenario.
Yeah.
But to have all your training, in the NBA, I don't know if that's something you can take into the offseason and go, hey, I can get better. It's just very hard to see the progress because there's so many ups and downs when you're playing against NBA talent every night.
Right.
So what these guys can turn into, and you kept Chauncey Billups around for a reason.
You did.
And I assume it's for what we don't see.
Well, it's clear he gets the most out of those guys.
Is it?
I think so. Now, he hasn't necessarily created stars, but he's created good players.
See, what I think it is I think it's because they believe he has the potential to get the most out of these guys. I don't think you've seen the ceiling for anybody but Jeremy Grant on this team.
He's also the oldest.
No, I know, but I'm just saying like who on the roster you go, yeah, you're getting everything you can out of them.
Fair, but I also think that you look at the success that Toumani Camara has had.
But this is not an insult to Chauncey.
Right, they're young.
I guess my point is Toumani Camara is very good, and he's certainly getting better. If he makes another leap next year, he's in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year.
Agreed.
And if the team is better, where he's making more of an impact, he's going to get more eyeballs on him. So if there's another level, I mean, he's what, 24?
Something like that. But the success that he's had is, I think Chauncey does get a little credit.
Oh no, 100% he gets credit.
Throw-in piece in a trade for Nurk, right?
Yep.
What I wonder with this Blazers team, when you look at the success that the Pacers and the Thunder have had, because the Knicks did it a little bit different. They took a risk. They traded for a 2 they thought could be a 1, and Jalen Brunson has more than turned into that. But when you look at these Thunder and Pacer teams, they are built largely through the draft or through ancillary trades.
Yeah, well, both of their stars are trade pieces, which is interesting.
Right.
Because you have guys that are picked around 11, 12. Where did the Blazers pick this year?
11.
Yep. So you have an 11th and a 12th overall pick that were both traded for teams that were trying to figure out the formula.
Right. Well,
Those
they
are the guys
were,
leading your teams.
they were on other teams, like they'd been in for a year or two, and then they developed into a star,
Yep.
right? Or everyone else has been drafted for the most part. And so with a Blazer team like this, what you're kind of seeing, same as Thunder, same as Pacers, they just got bodies and they got depth and they got athleticism. And then they just kind of try to figure it out as you go.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily think, because the old way was you get the star, then you build the team.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like you find your wife, then you buy the house.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of turning into, well, if I buy the house,
Yeah, then all my buddies can live there.
yes.
And at some point when I meet the wife, I'm going to have to kick out some of those buddies because
but
let's be honest.
I've got the house, and the
Yep.
house is going to be enticing
Yep.
to get the wife.
Yeah.
Because, hey, not everyone can afford the house right now, and I got a nice house.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm picking up what you're putting down. So now, who's the wife? Who are we dating?
Well, and
Because that's the thing is I don't know that we're even dating anybody.
You're probably hinge messaging Shaden and Scoot. Like, you guys probably aren't talking every day, but like you're liking Instagram stories. You're kind of getting into the weeds. You're texting. You're courting. You're probably going to get some coffee, but you're not yet to drinks.
Yeah.
And you're probably kind of half in, half out anyways. Like, hey, she's cool, but
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how much
the
I
other
love
thing
her.
that's always a challenge too is you've still got, your old girlfriends hanging around too. Ant's still there, and
Yeah.
Jeremy, and as good as those guys have been, they take up a lot of minutes.
they do.
And that's where it gets really challenging because you started seeing a lot more Denny late in the season.
Yep.
Shaden had some big games where he's putting up 30, but then there's some DNPs.
Yep.
There's some late game minutes where they're pulled, even though they've had, a great game or whatever, because they didn't really want to win games. But you can get Banton out there and Repair and put these guys in here that kind of need minutes at the end of the year. I'm just very curious what they're going to do in the offseason. They've got,
They're
a decent pick this
Mhm.
year.
they
but-
good trade picks.
But who are you going to keep on this roster? And who are those expiring contracts? Are you going to keep DeAndre Ayton around? Are you going to keep Jeremy Grant, Ant Simons? Are these guys that you really want to do it? Or do you just want to kind of shed some weight where, listen, they're valuable pieces. They can go and be a third or a fourth on a team and, be a starter. But let's get these young guys some minutes. Is this the season where the Blazers just go, here's the plan? Because was there ever a time last season where you watched a month of games and went, I clearly see what they're trying to do here?
No,
That's the entire Chauncey Billups era
and
has
it's
been
not his fault.
And I'm not saying that it is,
Right.
but there has not been a clear direction from you watch the games
Mm-hmm.
and you can see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's where they need to get to.
But I do want this because I know we're up against it. And we have to break.
We don't have to do anything.
That's true.
Just take over the airwaves. There's nobody else in the building.
What are they
The
going to
catering crew has already left for the day.
Right. What are they gonna do,
The
kick us out?
engineering crew, our hair and makeup guys are gone. It's just you and I.
I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that they don't have a clear plan.
I don't disagree.
Yet.
Yeah.
It is the ultimate. Let's just throw a bunch of bodies at the wall and figure it out from there. And I don't think that you have to
Well, okay.
yet.
No,
I think you do soon,
I
but not yet.
the fact that they re-signed Chauncey again makes me
Mhm.
think that they believe in what he's doing behind the scenes.
I agree.
I think this coming season, you won 15 more games last year than you did the year before.
Yep.
This year, from jump, I'd like to know what the plan is. Is it Scoot and Shaden and the pieces around them, and we're going to give them a chance to try to be stars,
Mm-hmm.
or are they not there?
Yep. And not to do a Colin Cowherd thing, but you got a roster right now, and you're dating around.
Yeah.
You're going out, you're getting coffee, you're getting drinks, but no one's going over to stay the night. No one's going to meet friends. It is very casual right now.
Yep.
You do have to pick one, Eventually.
if you're
but you got a couple mistresses going right
that's
now.
exactly what's going on, and you need to get rid of some of the guys that are taking up those minutes, even if it makes you worse in the short term.
Yeah.
You need to you just decide what the direction of this team is, and that's what. And I'm not saying that they don't have a vision. It's just not a complete picture on the court.
Agreed.
Let's get there. That's all I'm asking. Let's put a bow on the show. We'll do it next. Sinner and Saint, 1080 The Fan.
Did you on 1080 The Fan.
No Will Darkins for a few weeks. Congratulations to him and his family welcoming his new daughter Emma to the world. Will Ortner, what are you watching right now outside of sports? Because we're almost done with the playoffs, and we're going to start watching things when the Mariners aren't playing or playing well.
I'm reading right now. I'll be going to Hardy this weekend, so I'll be watching Hardy and Co-Wetzel.
There's no shows you're watching?
No, I do want to. I need to see Sinners before it comes out of the theaters.
Okay.
So eventually, on one of the off days, Sinners.
All right. Well, enjoy Hardy. Thank you for filling in. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Off to the Mariners game. Wish me luck. I might be
Good
naked.
luck. I
All
can't
right.
wait for you to talk trash to your 8-year-old daughters.
Oh, I will the whole way to Seattle. We're done for now. Bye-bye.